Stevenage have taken the lead against Cheltenham. Cheltenham are going down. Nick Freeman on 90 minutes. So even though Burton were heavily losing at Fleetwood, the Brewers will survive in League One for another season. Cheltenham are going back to League Two. They're losing at Stevenage. Ball volleyed downfield by Conor Howrahan. There's a smoke bomb on the pitch on the far side, been thrown by the Derby fans, and even more fans are amassing. And the full-time whistle goes! A pitch invasion will signal Derby County's return to the EFL Championship after 2 years away. Joy unconfined inside Pride Park. Massive disappointment a year ago when they dropped out of the playoff pack on the final day of the regular season. But my, how Paul Warne and his players have got things right this season. Max Bird, their departing midfielder, who's heading for pastures new next season at Bristol City, crashed home the first goal early in the piece to settle nerves, and then a second half strike from their top scorer James Collins means it's the championship for Paul Warne and Derby County next season. Carlisle had a little spell not long after Derby went 1-0 in front, but the relegated side from Cumbria didn't offer a great deal in front of goal. Today is all about Derby County going back into the Championship after 2 years away, and after all the tumultuous events that have happened around ownership and points deductions and transfer embargoes. Today is a good day to be a Derby County fan. At full time, it's finished. Derby County 2, Carlisle United 0. Derby are promoted back to the Championship.
Ian Danter, thank you very much. The promotion party can begin for Derby County. As Dance mentioned there, after plenty of turmoil in recent seasons, they will be a Championship club once again next season. A brilliant job from Paul Warne and his players, and there will be some party in and around Pride Park this afternoon. You can hear the Derby fans. They are delighted, and so they should be. Goals from Max Bird and James Collins have taken them up. What else though has happened today on the final day in League One? There are so many games still going on. What does the playoff picture look like? Let's find out what's happening in the game between Peterborough and Bolton though. First of all, it was third against fourth at the start of the day. Bolton had hopes of snatching that automatic spot, but things just haven't swung their way, have they, Mark Wilson?
No, they haven't. It's ended here. Peterborough 3, Bolton 3. Really good game for the neutral to watch. Bolton got off to a dream start when Dempsey scored inside 3 minutes with a neat header. Then Dion Charles from the spot had Bolton 2-0 up inside 7. But news of that Derby goal filtered through, and at half-time Bolton came out a different side. Malik Mothersill got one back for Peterborough 5 minutes into the second half. Neat finish from close range. Then Joel Randall wonderfully played in from halfway, ran forward, kept his cool, lobbed the advancing keeper to make it 2-2, and at that point there only looked to be one winner. Peterborough did duly go in front with 10 left. Mothersill second, a neat tap in, and it looked like the Posh were going to complete an unlikely victory, but just with minutes to go at the other end, cross from the left hand side. I think it hit Cameron Jerome rather than him finish it, but it went in the back of the net anyway, and it ends on us even here. It'll be Bolton against Oxford, we think, and Peterborough against Barnsley in the playoffs. But on this evidence, Peterborough looking a better mental state going into it. Peterborough 3, Bolton 3.
So Bolton finished third, Peterborough finished fourth. What's going on at Oakwell though? Barnsley needed a win over Northampton to make sure of their playoff spot. Have they managed it, Graham Beecroft?
Well, you better get your calculator out here, because the Northampton Town have just equalised. It was Louis Apere who got it. Ball forward, they failed to deal with it, Barnsley, and in the end the ball rattled into the back of the net. It was a nice finish as well to send the Northampton fans, who haven't had much to shout about in this game, absolutely ecstatic. So there we are, right at the very end of the game. Barnsley's chance of going straight into the playoffs has dissipated. Let's find out how that affects the rest of things. You're in charge here, you're the expert on the mathematics here. Barnsley 1, Northampton Town 1.
Well, that will be welcome news for Lincoln. They're also still playing. They needed 3 points to be sure of a place in the playoffs as well. Just to give you the picture, that then leaves Barnsley still in the playoffs in 6th place. Oxford move above them into 5th, but Lincoln are just behind. How are they getting on against champions Portsmouth though, Jeff Peters?
They're still trailing 1-0 to Portsmouth. We are 5 minutes into added time of 11 minutes that has been added on. We've had delays in that added time as well, so still a fair bit of time to go here, but it's that Miles Peart-Harris goal 9 minutes from time which is separating the sides. Lincoln have basically got to score twice in the last 6 minutes or so of added time to get themselves into the playoffs. The fans, well, have they given up hope? There is always time, there is always hope. It's Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 1.
Well, we'll keep you across any late drama there. As Jeff says, Lincoln need 2 goals to maybe push themselves into the playoffs. That late goal for Northampton has given them a glimmer of hope. We'll be back with Jeff if anything happens over in the game at Lincoln. Just to confirm, Cheltenham are relegated. They have lost 2-1 to Stevenage. So many times throughout the afternoon they needed just 1 goal to stay up because Burton had been thrashed by Fleetwood, but it ends 2-1 to Stevenage and Cheltenham are relegated to League 2. It is now full time at Oakwell. Graham Beecroft.
And it's finished here. Barnsley 1, Northampton Town 1, and the substitute head coach Martin Devaney came up with a fairly novel way of inspiring his players before the start of this crucial match, I think. Those who were dads brought their children onto the pitch to shake hands with the officials and their opponents. It worked, or seemed to work as well, because they played very well indeed, especially in the first half. Herbie Kane made the breakthrough with a beautifully struck right-footed shot early doors. It stayed 1-0 at half-time. On 59 minutes, though, Barnsley had a wonderful chance to increase the lead when a dreadful clearance by Burge, the Northampton goalkeeper, was intercepted on the edge of the penalty area, but the Tykes over-elaborated. The opportunity disappeared. Northampton, with nothing to play for, maintained the integrity of the encounter, you have to say that, but failed to set Barnsley's nerves jangling until right at the end. A diving header struck the woodwork, and then they scored to get an equaliser deep into injury time. So it's finished here. Barnsley 1, Northampton Town 1.
So here's how the table looks currently. Portsmouth up as champions, Derby promoted with their 2-0 win over Carlisle. You heard it live here on TalkSport 2. As it stands in the playoffs, Bolton and Peterborough finished 3rd and 4th. It's then Oxford in 5th, and because of that result there, Barnsley are clinging on to 6th place, but Lincoln trail to Portsmouth. They would need to get in front in that game in order to push themselves into the playoff places. So Barnsley, you may have no fingernails left, Barnsley fans, but it's looking like you will be in the playoffs. As for the bottom of the table, we already knew that Carlisle, Port Vale and Fleetwood had all been relegated before the start of the day. It's Cheltenham who take that 4th place as well. They fell to a 2-1 defeat to Stevenage. Despite Burton losing as well, Cheltenham couldn't get their own job done, and they will play in League 2 next season. Let's focus on what went on though at Pride Park this afternoon. Let's bring back in the former Watford and Burnley striker Chris Iwelumo. Chris, it's job done for Derby, and a brilliant job done by Paul Warne. His 4th promotion from League 1 as a manager. How much credit does he deserve?
Yeah, he deserves it all. You know, I think he's come in, he's recruited well. I think he's learned from, I guess, the inconsistency of last season, just falling away that last game of the season. The players have taken on board as well exactly what he wants from them, and they've implemented that. You know, they've been outstanding, defensively sound, scoring goals from all over the team. And any team that does score goals and bring goals from all over, you know what, success follows. You know, I think what I'm seeing just now, you can see it's so emotional for a lot of fans as well. And he's had to deal with that pressure, that expectation, and he's delivered on all fronts, hasn't he?
Chris, thank you very much indeed, and Ian Danter as well for your commentary this afternoon. Is the game still going on between Lincoln and Portsmouth? We're going to find out in just a moment from Jeff Peters, but it's all looking lost for Lincoln in their push for the playoffs this season. So Derby are up, their promotion party can start, but right now the focus here on TalkSport 2 will shift to the Premier League. St James's Park filling up nicely ahead of Newcastle against Sheffield United. We can go now to Jeff Peters to find out what's happened though in that game between Lincoln and Portsmouth, and it seems, Jeff, in the end Lincoln couldn't quite get over the line.
Yeah, we're still playing here. It's Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 1. We've had 10 minutes of added time. 11 was put up on the board, but we've had a few stoppages in that. And as it stands, Lincoln will be missing out on the playoffs by a couple of points, so that late goal which went in at Barnsley looks like that's not going to have any difference. You're not really going to make a difference for them. Oxford in 5th, Barnsley 6th as it stands, Lincoln 7th and Blackpool 8th. They're going to have to score 2 goals very, very quickly into the last minute of the 11 that was added on. I think there will be a few more, certainly 1 or 2, because we've had some stoppages, some bookings and some injuries as well. So they're still playing here at Lincoln, but it's the champions Portsmouth who are going to end the season with yet another victory. That's how it's appearing to be at the moment, and disappointment for Lincoln right at the end. I mean, we could stay with the action here just for the closing stages, as Lincoln just tried desperately to get 1 goal to then put a bit more pressure on Portsmouth. But at the moment, with the counter-attacking that Portsmouth are doing, it always looks possible that they might get a second goal to really kill this game off. Here is Kamara, and Kamara hits the post, and it's been turned in, and that is a second goal for Portsmouth, and Lincoln's season is ending here today. It is a celebration for the Pompey fans. It's been scored, I think, by, is it Paddy Lane who's got the goal, but it's been turned in from close range, and that second goal for Portsmouth has shown and has seen that some of the Lincoln fans have already started to leave here, but they've given it a real go in this game today. That goal in the 12th minute of added time, and Lincoln's season is ending with a whimper. They've been on a fantastic run. You have to give them incredible credit, because where they were early on in the season when Michael Skabala came in, they were miles off it, absolutely miles off it. But then suddenly 12 wins in 16 gave them real hope, real optimism that they could extend the season. But this game today, it's just been one step too far, playing the team that not only been promoted but also won the title as well. Miles Peart-Harris scoring 9 minutes from time, and then Paddy Lane with that tap in for the second goal. And fair play to the Lincoln fans here. They are up, they are cheering, they are applauding their team, but it could have been oh so different. That penalty which Danny Mandroiu won 7 minutes into the second half, he stepped up and took it himself, but he slipped, and it was an easy save for Norris, the goalkeeper. They also had another big opportunity when Ben House, 6 yards out, put the ball over the bar just after the restart, but that missed penalty is really important and crucial, and such a blow for Lincoln. Those 2 late goals from Peart-Harris and from Lane. There's the full-time whistle, and Lincoln City miss out on the playoffs. A brilliant, brilliant run to get to this stage, but then they just couldn't do it on the final day of the season. So they miss out by 2 points. And as for Pompey, well, an outstanding season for them. They'll be playing in the Championship for the first time after 12 seasons away. Their fans were having a party regardless of the result this afternoon. It's finished. Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 2.
The party continues for promoted Pompey, but for Lincoln, it's so near yet so far. They miss out on the playoffs by 2 points. Just to give you the table for all those positions that matter then in League One as the final day comes to a close. Portsmouth up as champions, Derby second. They're promoted as well after their win over Carlisle. In the playoffs then, it's Bolton, Peterborough, Oxford and Barnsley. Those first legs, Friday, May the 3rd, 8 p.m, Barnsley against Bolton, and then Saturday, May the 4th at 7:45, Oxford against Peterborough. The second legs, Tuesday, May the 7th, Bolton will host Barnsley, and then on Wednesday, May the 8th, it's Peterborough against Oxford as well. All of those games will be live right here on your home of the EFL, including the final, of course, as well, Saturday, May the 18th at 5:30. The TalkSport network will bring you every nail-biting kick of those games, so make sure you're with us for that. Well, what a final day we've had in League One. Here's how it all sounded today.
Oh,
Oh, what a goal! What a magnificent hit from Max Bird! What a streak! A penalty at the Western Homes. Mark Wilson.
Dion Charles from the spot to put Bolton 2-0 up, and he does.
So Bolton doing what they have to do, but it's not enough as it stands.
It's still in Lincoln's hands. It's 0-0.
Oxford up to 5th, Blackpool up to 6th because they lead as well. Lincoln only drawing would miss out. And there is a breakthrough at Oakwell. Graham Beecroft.
It's gone to Barnsley. Barnsley 1, Northampton 0.
And that will catapult Barnsley back into the playoff places. And there's a goal at the Western Homes Community Stadium.
It'll go down well at your place. It's Peterborough 1, Bolton 2.
Yeah, it's Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 0. Danny Mandroiu was nudged over in the penalty area. He stepped up to take it. He slipped, and it was easily saved by Norris.
And that still means that Lincoln are out of the playoff picture. Ball into the area, fired in by James Collins. Start the championship party now. Derby are on their way back to England's second tier. There is a goal back at the Western Homes. Mark Wilson.
You can start the party now for sure because it's Peterborough 2, Bolton 2 here.
Goal of the LNER, Jeff Peters.
It's Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 1. It could be all up for Lincoln now. Miles Peart-Harris with the goal.
Well, that's music to the ears of Oxford fans, I imagine. And the full-time whistle goes. A pitch invasion will signal Derby County's return to the EFL Championship. Today is a good day to be a Derby County fan. Derby are promoted back to the Championship.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Brentford live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Mwah. When it's lunch o'clock, I just eat the tortilla naked burrito bowl.
Oh, I didn't know you could get those.
There's a lot you don't know, dear.
Well, I know that shirt's not coming back into fashion anytime soon.
Touché.
Get tortilla, Subway, Pret, and more delivered. For lunch and everything else.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Charges apply. Check available restaurants in your area and opening times on justeat.co.uk for details.
Hope there won't be any VAR delays today. Heard that rumour about their striker. Can't wait to see what the pundits make of that booking. Looking forward to the match report on this one. When it comes to football, never miss a story. Get the best news, opinion, interviews and gossip at thesun.co.uk. For the football lowdown every day, it's thesun.co.uk.
Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal. So let's see who can shout Uno first.
Bring it on.
Yes. Ooh. No! A wild card! Right. Yes, back in the game. Yes! Ooh! No! Draw one card.
Uno! Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh. Some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11am. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only, while stocks last.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Don't break your stride. Get to Screwfix for the latest offers on the brands you love. Like the new and exclusive limited edition DeWalt 100-year 18-volt combi drill with 4 amp-hour battery for just $119.99. And keep everything stacked and packed with a DeWalt T-Stack organizer at a great price of only $19.99. Shop now on the app at screwfix.com or in-store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until at least 6th of May, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
It's time to travel through the Stargate to the live football universe. Game day.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker.
Game day exclusive.
On TalkSport 2.
Good afternoon, this is Game Day exclusive on TalkSport 2, which comes to you live from St James's Park. Newcastle United are hoping to keep the pressure on in their push for a place in Europe next season. They take on Sheffield United, and after a miserable season for the Blades, this could be the final curtain.
As for Newcastle, this is a blow to their European hopes. Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle 0.
There's a host of teams, and probably all the teams in and around us at the moment will be a little bit frustrated because I think we've all been slightly inconsistent.
They've now put 9 goals past Sheffield United this season to push the Blades closer to the drop. Sheffield United 1, Burnley 4.
It's a poor season, but it's not a poor football club. We've been in far worse positions than this.
1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, slots home and scores a third goal for Newcastle United.
Any form of European qualification after the season we've had would be a success.
Palmer checks onto his right and scores a brilliant goal back for Sheffield United.
Through good times, we all enjoy it, and we're all willing to take that credit. And you have to own and suffer and take responsibility for the times where there's a little bit of pain.
We don't underestimate the opposition at all, and it's a difficult game for us, but one that we need to improve on.
Sheffield United remain bottom, Brentford 2, Sheffield United 0.
We've obviously had a poor season, and that's there for everybody to see, and we've had to take that. But as I said, it doesn't last forever.
These are important games for us. We are under no illusions about how important every single game is now as we build to next season.
We'll come again if the inevitable happens on the weekend.
Gordon taps it in! Newcastle lead!
We're not chasing any different dream, really. It's about improving our performances now for these last 5 matches.
Welcome to St James's Park. I'm Ollie Klink. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. It's a bright and beautiful day up in the northeast, but for Sheffield United, the horizon looks pretty bleak, doesn't it? Lose today at Newcastle, and they will be relegated to the Championship. They take on a Newcastle side with their own aims and ambitions. They currently sit 7, 3 points behind Manchester United as they look to complete a late charge into those Europa League spots for next season. I'm joined this afternoon by the former Preston Leeds and whisper it around here Sunderland manager Simon Grayson. But first, with the team news, here's your commentator for this afternoon, Adam Breach.
Good afternoon, Ollie. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to St James's Park, a Newcastle side who have been flying in recent times here. 36 points garnered at St James's Park throughout the campaign, over 70% of their total of 50 so far. They make 2 changes from that surprising defeat at Crystal Palace in midweek. We see the return to the starting 11 of Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento in place of Emil Kraft and maybe surprisingly Harvey Barnes, although his 4 Premier League goals this season have come when he's joined the fray as a substitute. There's a 150th club career appearance for Anthony Gordon, and Alexander Isak is looking to add to his 17 Premier League goals. Dubravka is in goal, Livramento, Cher, Byrne and Hall across the back, Longstaff, Guimaraes and Anderson in central midfield, with Murphy on the right, Gordon on the left, and Isak will lead the line. The bench is similar to that from midweek, obviously with the fact that Kraft and Barnes have joined it instead of Livramento and Hall. As for Sheffield United, well, it is last chance saloon. They need to win today or they will be relegated today, and they've only managed to do that once on the road through this entire season. More forced into an unchanged side is Chris Wilder. Injuries are so bad, he's lost McAtee now as well. He does welcome back Jack Robinson to the bench, and Jayden Bogle, who scored against Manchester United in midweek, makes his 100th appearance for Sheffield United. So Fotheringham's in goal. It's a back 3 of Holgate, Ahmed Hodzic and Trusty. The 2 wing backs are Bogle and Osborne, Harmer, Arblaster and Brooks in central midfield, with Cameron Archer partnering Ben Brereton Diaz up top. Diaz with 5 goals to his name in his 10 appearances on loan from Villarreal so far.
Adam, thank you. Let's bring in the ex-Leeds defender and manager Simon Grayson. Simon, a very good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. It's been a long old season, hasn't it, for Sheffield United, warming up away to our left-hand side. Today could be the end of the road for them as well. Can you see it going any different?
Well, look, on paper, it's a Newcastle win all day long. We never know what could happen in the Premier League and in football in general, but the odds are stacked against Sheffield United. I think when you look at them, and I spoke to Chris earlier, he's just disappointed that they're going to go down with a not as much spirit and fight about them that they maybe should have done, or maybe they've done in the past as well in previous seasons. So look, they'll learn from this experience. I think when you look at them, they've been quite a young group, had a lot of injuries as well, but it'd be disappointing, but it just shows the gulf between the Championship and the Premier League, with the three teams that got promoted where they are at this moment in time.
In terms of Newcastle, they've strung together some big results in recent weeks. A 1-0 win at Fulham, they thrashed Spurs here recently as well. I was at the game on Wednesday at Selhurst Park, though, a 2-0 defeat to Crystal Palace. A big blow for their European ambitions, and it was the performance as well that wasn't at the heights that they can usually reach. Could we see a potential hangover from that performance today?
Well, if I was the players and if I was Eddie, I'd be looking for the reverse. I want the lads that he's put out today, to make sure that they go out and play with the passion and desire and the quality that they've showed all season and the previous few seasons. They're a really good team. Newcastle got some talented players. You talk about injury list, their injury list is horrendous, to be fair, but they've managed to keep going. They give younger players the opportunities. So I would think the result the other night might be just a little bit of a kick up the backside for the last few games to really give them that opportunity to get into Europe.
Now, I got here bright and early, Simon, and away to our right-hand side today in the Gallagher end. It's been filled with fans at the moment, but there's set to be some display before kick-off of a huge Brazilian flag. Reason being, you'd imagine, that Bruno Guimaraes' name has been in the news this week, including from our very own Alex Cook at TalkSport, saying that PSG are interested in signing him this summer. Now, he does have a £100 million release clause that expires at the end of June. Eddie Howe confirmed that in his press conference, but losing Bruno Guimaraes would be a real problem for Newcastle this summer, wouldn't it? Because he is such a key player for them.
Well, he certainly is. He's been here for a few years now, and he's showed consistently what a good player is. In possession, out of possession, goals, assists. I think the one big thing that Newcastle have got in the favour is that he loves it here. He's endeared by these supporters, and maybe he could go somewhere else and not get that sort of adulation and that warm feeling that he gets, that he wants sometimes as the players. And he probably could fill all his ambitions as a footballer playing for Newcastle United, that are only going to grow bigger and bigger over the next few years with the money behind them. This football club is huge, and the Premier League is if not the best division in the world.
Can I say something quite controversial here?
Go on.
I would argue that £100 million is a fantastic deal for Bruno Guimaraes, bearing in mind he costs 40. Because, that's good money, that's good profit. And, something Simon said earlier on, worry about losing your striker. You can find midfielders. £100 million for me would be a good deal.
If you were the manager, though, Simon, would you be looking to keep Bruno for his talents, or hoping to get that money and reinvest it?
Oh, that's a real tough question, that is, to be fair. I think if
that's
asking,
what you're here for.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm not ducking away from it. And if I'm guaranteed that money to spend, then you maybe would enhance the squad, and for one player maybe get 2 or 3 additional players in for that. I've been at football clubs where you've been guaranteed the sale of a player and not got the money off the back of it. That's maybe a concern as well.
Yeah, okay, there's a smattering of flags beginning to wave here at St James's Park. Some big displays as well set as well for us to see. The players have finished their warm-ups. We're going to turn our attention to Sheffield United in just a moment as well, as we build up to what could be their final game this season as a Premier League club. Kick-off comes next on TalkSport 2.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal. So let's see who can shout Uno first.
Bring it on.
Yes. Ooh, no, a wild card. Right. Yes, back in the game. Yes. Ooh, no, draw 1 card.
Uno. Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh, some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11am. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only, while stocks last.
Who are you going for in the racing today? The favourite. And tomorrow? The favourite. And the next day? The favourite. The Sun's horse racing pullout, The Favourite, is now in the paper 7 days a week. Yes, that's right. Every single day. Bringing you even more top tips, more form guides, more race cards, and all the colours and silks. Get your favourite pullout every day in the Sun, the home of racing.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
When the kids eat us out of house and home, we just eat groceries from Sainsbury's.
Yeah, shopping's here! Give me those! No, mine!
When do they leave home?
Get Sainsbury's, Asda and Co-op delivered for free. For groceries and everything else.
Did somebody say just eat?
Participate in stores. A minimum spend applies. Other charges apply. Subject to availability. See justeat.co.uk for details.
Don't break your stride. Get to Screwfix for the latest offers on the brands you love. Like the next generation, more powerful, more compact Milwaukee 18-volt twin pack. It's new and exclusive to Screwfix at just $249.99. And get those lawns in order with a Titan grass trimmer, now only $49.99, a saving of £10. Shop now, on the app at screwfix.com or in-store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until at least 6th of May, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Brentford live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
Good afternoon, this is Game Day exclusive on TalkSport 2. I'm Ollie Klink. Welcome to St James's Park, where Newcastle are taking on Sheffield United. We're just under 7 minutes away from kick-off. The seats are being filled here at St James's. The displays are fantastic. A huge Brazilian flag away to my right. Time now, though, for us to get the latest odds on this match with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Ben Barrett joins us from William Hill. Ben, very good afternoon. What odds can we expect for this game then?
The betting suggests this is going to be one-way traffic in favour of Newcastle. It is 1-4 for a home victory. Draw is 6-1. Sheffield United, if they are to keep their slim hopes of Premier League survival alive, need to pull off a 9-1 victory in this matchup. Of course, in the reverse fixture in the league, it finished 8-0 with 8 different Newcastle scorers. Same scoreline again today, by the way, is 125-1. I am expecting goals. In 7 home games throughout the calendar year of 2024, Newcastle have scored 19 goals, including 4 on 3 separate occasions. Newcastle to win with 4 or more goals in the match is available at 19-20. Newcastle to win with 5 or more goals in the match is 9-5. Quick shout out for Alexander Isak. He has 5 in his last 5 and is 3-1 to open the scoring again. And Anthony Gordon scored versus Spurs and assisted twice, including 1 for Alexander Isak. Isak to score, assisted by Gordon at any point in this fixture, is 4-1. I don't want to completely alienate Blades fans. If they are to do something special today, Ben Brereton Diaz is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting, you'd think. He did score in defeat against Manchester United and is 23-10 to score at any time today. But the betting here at William Hill suggests this is going to be a long afternoon for Sheffield United.
Ben Barrett, thank you very much indeed. Those are the latest odds with William Hill. Gamble responsibly, 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2 with official betting partner William Hill, giving you the tools for positive play. Take time to think and know your limits. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
The teams in the tunnel, the atmosphere building very nicely here at St James's Park. Let's bring in Simon Grayson once more. Just before we throw to you and Adam Bridge, where's it gone wrong for Sheffield United this season? Had it gone wrong before the season had even started?
If you're being honest, I would say so. I think the recruitment probably wasn't at the level that you need for the Premier League. The gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is huge, and you have to make sure that you get the right people in and the right type to play for a certain football club, and I don't think that Sheffield United managed to do that in the summer, and it has come back to bite them really. And when you look at the problems they've had, it's quite clear that defensively have been very, very poor and not scored enough goals. With them ingredients, it's all going to lead to one thing, and that's unfortunately for Sheffield United, going to be relegation back to the Championship.
Simon Grayson, thank you very much indeed. The teams are waiting to come out the tunnel here at St James's Park as Hey Jude rings out over us here. Don't forget, there's so much live football on the way for you on the TalkSport network, right here on TalkSport 2 from 5:30. A huge game for Chelsea women. They take on Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final second leg. Chelsea lead 1-0 in that game. And then at 8 o'clock, a spicy game in the Championship. Ipswich will try and push themselves into the automatic spot. They take on Hull at 8 o'clock, whilst over on TalkSport, it's top four chasing Aston Villa against Chelsea in the Premier League. But right here, Newcastle looking to keep their hopes alive for a European place at the end of the season. But for Sheffield United, it really is the last chance saloon. Lose today and they will be relegated. Taking you through the action, former Leeds manager Simon Grayson. But first, your match commentator, Adam Breach.
Thank you, Ollie. Welcome everyone to St James's Park. Well, I've been on the lookout for Tom Cruise since I arrived in Newcastle this morning, given that Sheffield United are facing Mission Impossible. Even a win this afternoon will surely do no more than prolong the inevitable drop back down to the Championship that looked likely before a ball was even kicked. Minimal investment and selling the player who saw you to promotion on the eve of the season was a recipe for disaster. And in the main, that's what this season has been for the Blades. Their biggest humbling on home turf came at the hands of the Magpies. An 8-0 demolition I'm sure won't be repeated today. But nonetheless, St James's Park has become a fortress again, tying in with Newcastle's resurgent European hopes. While the Conference League and trips to the far reaches of UEFA's territory look likely, their form and Manchester United's faltering has made sixth and the Europa League a real possibility. And given their injuries this season, that would be some achievement. Can they continue that fine run today? It'll all be played out, certainly from Newcastle's perspective, in black and white before us. And the Blades are in yellow. Maybe a somewhat fitting colour, given some of the performances we've seen from them throughout this season. Let's look at the two sides. Newcastle United, two changes today. Emil Kraft and Harvey Barnes dropped down to the bench. Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall come into the starting lineup. He's ditched the back three from the feet at Palace and lines up with the back four. Dubravka's in goal. Livramento, Cher, Byrne and Hall across the back. Longstaff, Guimaraes and Anderson in midfield, with Murphy and Gordon flanking Isak, who will lead the line for Newcastle United. Karius, who it is reported will leave at the end of the season, is amongst the substitutes along with Dummett, Wilson, Ritchie, Barnes, Kraft, White, Murphy and Parkinson. As for Sheffield United, they're unchanged from that 4-2 defeat against Manchester United midweek, despite taking the lead twice. Foderingham is in goal. It's Holgate, Ahmedhodzic and Trusty across the back. Bogle and Osborne are the two wing-backs, with Harmer, Arblaster and Brooks in central midfield. It's Arblaster who captains the side, by the way, and Archer and Brereton Diaz will lead the line. Gerbic, who's been relegated to the subs bench again for a second game in a row, is alongside Norwood, the returning Robinson, Souza, Slimani, Larousi, Curtis, Asula and young Louis Marsh as well. Tony Harrington is the man in charge. On VAR duty, and hopefully he stays quiet, is Andy Madley, and it's going to be Newcastle who will kick away from the Gallagate end in the opening 45 minutes. Simon Grayson's alongside me. What a stadium this is, and what an atmosphere.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a traditional football ground. Now they've got the impetus going, the excitement, the flags are out in recognition of Guimaraes, wanting him to be staying here next season. It's a fantastic place as a spectacle for the support, but as a player as well. I used to love playing here when we got a chance to, and yeah, they'll be cheering the team on, the Newcastle faithful, this afternoon.
And it's Sheffield United, all in yellow, kicking from left to right, to get us underway this afternoon. Our exclusive national radio commentary right here on TalkSport 2. It's simple. They lose, they're relegated. They draw, they're still going to get relegated anyway. Even if they win, they'll probably get relegated too, but at least it'll prolong it for a little bit longer for Sheffield United supporters and their players. Dan Byrne with the first defensive duty of the game, and that's the hooker ball that was bouncing on the right edge of the penalty area into touch on this near side as Sheffield United look to build again. They'll be heartened by their performances in the last two games. Yes, they shipped 4 goals at home against Burnley. Yes, they shipped 4 goals against Manchester United, but actually they've been creating opportunities in the last couple of games, and here they go now. Harmer towards the edge of the penalty area, but Byrne will clear that ball away.
Well, they're probably playing with nothing to lose, to be fair. They're probably resigned that they're probably going to get relegated. And Chris will be installing into them that, look, we've got to go down, show more of an enthusiasm, more of a desire and hunger, and not go down with a whimper.
As for Newcastle United, for them, they are 15 points worse off than at this stage last season. They were third in the table with a whopping 65 points, of course, that helped secure them that Champions League football. But still a hope for Europe. Everyone felt that was maybe a little early to have got the Champions League berth, but you take it. But a place in the Europa League next season, I'm sure, would more than do Eddie Howe right now. Here's Bogle on this right-hand side. Infield he goes and just gives it short to the captain, Arblaster. Just 20 years of age is Oliver Arblaster, only his 8th start in the Premier League for Sheffield United, and he's captain. Is Chris Wilder making a statement there, Simon?
Well, yes and no. Maybe he's got it on merit. I know Ollie McBurney was the captain in a couple of games recently as well. It's probably what Chris is showing, that for the future that Arblaster's going to be a big player for this football club, and he wants to give him that responsibility. He's obviously a leader type as well, and he's obviously got very good credentials as a footballer, so Chris must think a lot about him.
Yeah, Chris Wilder likes to throw him in at the deep end. He's made his debut in that 6-0 drubbing by Arsenal as the free kick is launched forward by Arblaster towards the edge of the penalty area, and the foul is given, and it's a free kick for Newcastle from outside the edge of their box. They've only lost one of their last 5 Premier League games, have Newcastle United. Been in much better form in recent weeks, and as we say, it's been fuelled by performances here. That victory over West Ham United being one of those, winning that game by 4-3, of course, having been 3-1 down. And the atmosphere that day, well, I'm surprised there's a roof left, to be fair. It was extraordinary.
And it is, when you look at their injury list, what they've done in the last few weeks has been really, really impressive, to be fair, given that, look, it's 10-12 players that probably could start most games as well.
Huge afternoon, of course, elsewhere in the football pyramid as well. Penultimate round, or mostly the penultimate round of games in the Championship, of course. We'll keep an eye on that for you. There could be some relegation issues decided today. Of course, Ipswich not playing till later tonight here live on TalkSport 2, so there won't be too much decided near the top. Arblaster does really well to wriggle away from a couple of challenges and plays the ball out wide on the left-hand side, where he finds Osborne. It's the final day as well, by the way, in League 2, so we'll keep you across those games and crucial goals as they go in as well. Here's Brereton Diaz inside the box, trying to work it onto his right foot for the shot. It's lifted forward, or attempted to be lifted forward, by Andre Brooks. He's stopped in his tracks, and it'll come back again to Osborne. And now down that left-hand side, it's Brooks towards the corner flag for Sheffield United, who are having a good spell of play on that left-hand touchline. He's got 2 round him, and he's just dilly-dallied too much. In the end, it's good defending by Livramento, and Newcastle United will try and bring it clear from the back, and it's going to be Cher who tries to get it away, but it comes to Diaz in the box. Brereton Diaz with a chance, and he gets the shot away, but it's blocked inside the 6-yard box by Dan Burn, and out for a corner.
Well, Sheffield United started really well, and we just saw Arblaster there. He went away from Longstaff and Gimenez in the middle of the pitch. Newcastle give it away a little bit cheaply around the 18-yard box, and then it fell to Brereton Diaz, and probably just took a little bit too long. He probably needs to get that shot off a little bit quicker, which allowed the defender to get across and get the block. But it's been an encouraging start from Sheffield United.
He hasn't scored in 4 previous appearances against Newcastle United. Didn't score in his 20 appearances for Villarreal early in the season, of course, before joining Sheffield United on loan. Here's Harmer, 25 yards out, whips that ball in, nodded down and in! And they have the lead! Would you believe it? It's a goal for Ahmed Hodzic for Sheffield United. And this place is silenced, and no surprise, but they've deserved it on the opening 5 minutes, and Sheffield United may well be in the last chance saloon, but they're taking that chance. 5 minutes in at St James's Park, and it's Newcastle United 0, Sheffield United 1.
Well, we said that they started the game really well. They worked a real short corner, went into the edge of the box, and came out and in swinging corner from Hamer around the back, and the big centre backs there headed inside the 6-yard box underneath Dubravnik, and fantastic start for Sheffield United, and certainly rocked this Newcastle team.
Well, he scored against Luton on Boxing Day, did Ahmed Hodzic, and he's on target with his 2nd Premier League goal of the season for Sheffield United. And whatever you want to say about football, it's not played on paper.
Well, we did say, didn't we, when we were talking about it being a nap, that Newcastle are going to win the game. Well, there you go. It's been a fantastic start for Sheffield United, and now got to see a response from Newcastle.
couple of early goals in League Two. Accrington Stanley went behind against Tranmere Rovers, courtesy of a goal by Luke Norris, but the equaliser from Lewis Shipley following just 2 minutes later. There is a VAR check here for a possible offside against Ahmed Hodzic. Well, he's run round the back. It's just when that ball is played. Tony Harrington is the official, and it's been cleared. And they will continue, and the goal will stand.
One of the shortest VAR decisions, to be fair.
Yep, no time taken about that at all. So what a start here on TalkSport 2. Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1. Well, we thought we'd get goals. That was the one thing that was for sure today, considering the number of goals that have been scored in games featuring these sides this season. It's extraordinary numbers. Here come Newcastle on the attack down that right-hand side. Livramento's ball in, trying to find Isak, and it's blocked out at the near post, and it will go behind for the first corner for Newcastle.
Yeah, good run down the right-hand side, low cross into the box, and Isak, who's been on fire recently, looking to get into that 6-yard box, but defended well by the Sheffield United centre-backs, but good response from Newcastle.
124th goal that's featured in a Premier League game for Newcastle. It's the 126th that's featured in a game for Sheffield United. That's why we were pretty sure we'd see some goal-mouth action today. Gordon's going to swing this in from that far side, punched away well by Fotheringham, and trying to win the header at the edge of the penalty area, but couldn't quite get there. And now the counter's on, maybe, for Sheffield United. Here's Cameron Archer. Brereton Diaz has gone inside him. Archer's going to go alone, is he? Archer inside the box, gets the shot away, and it ricochets behind with a deflection, and it's going to be a corner on that left-hand side.
Well, what a counter-attack, 3 versus 1. Archer carries the ball forward. Could he have played Brereton Diaz? Could he have played him around the outside of him? Took the opportunity to get his shot off, but it wasn't a clear strike really, which deflected away for a corner. But just shows you Sheffield United have got the confidence from the early goal. Maybe could have made a little bit more of that counter-attack.
Yeah, straight from a corner. A game that doesn't really matter in League Two today. Swindon 1, Morecambe 0. Early goal there, and Salford are leading Harrogate Town by a goal to 0 as well. The only Premier League goal, well, that's here at St James's Park, and it's gone to Sheffield United. We've been playing 8 minutes on TalkSport 2. Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1. They're trying to work the same thing again, and it's going to be Harmer who's going to deliver this time. No, he can't. It comes out to Bogle. Bogle's the one who clips it in. Ahmed Hodzic round the back again, and this time it's gathered well by Martin Dubravka away to our right-hand side in the Newcastle United goal. Tries to set Isak away. One back immediately. Archer again, slipping it into Brereton Diaz, who can't quite get there. Dubravka's good out of his line, and at the edge of the 6-yard box he slides and gathers, and it's a basketball match because immediately Newcastle are on the attack.
Yeah, good. Sheffield United on the front foot, looking to press in the right areas. Mason Holgate there intercepted well, allowed him half another opportunity. Dubravka gets it, throws out very quickly, looking for a quick counter-attack. So there's no dull moments at this moment in time, is there, Adam?
Yeah, brilliant flick there from Harmer, and it's our blaster who's fouled by Guimaraes inside the centre circle. You're listening to the views of Simon Grayson, of course, former Leeds manager, who's alongside us here at St James's Park. We have some blue skies, some fluffy white clouds. That wind is quite strong as well, but it's a beautiful day in Newcastle. Not so far for the Toon Army all around us here at St James's Park. They trail by a goal to 0. 9 minutes on the clock, and it's a free kick for Sheffield United, just inside their own half, inside the centre circle. Where has this Sheffield United been all season?
I think that's what Chris Wilder will be thinking of to himself as well. How we started so well against a strong Newcastle team, but they've been very impressive, been on the front foot, passed it to the right areas, and they're going to have to defend here as Gordon gets it on the left-hand side near us.
He does. Good play by Elliot Anderson, dispossessing Harmer, who looked like he was going to have a shot on goal. Isak will send it to the edge of the penalty area. Longstaff is there out wide. On the right-hand side is Murphy. Murphy into Longstaff towards the byline inside the penalty area. Comes back out to Murphy. Angle of the box on that right-hand side. Exchanges passes with Livramento. Now Murphy again. He's got Guimaraes coming at the edge of the penalty area. Sips it into Longstaff on his left foot. Tight angle, 6-yard box. Well blocked by the keeper. Back in by Murphy. Chested down inside the penalty area. Controlled, and it'll come out to Gordon maybe. Or is Anderson going to go on his own? Anderson just teasing towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's Gordon. Miley's up in the attack as well inside the penalty area. Can't find him, and it's cleared by Harmer out to Brereton Diaz on this right-hand side. And Sheffield United may well just take a moment here and head backwards for the first time in this game.
Well, we saw there Guimaraes there with a little reverse ball all the way into the path of I think it was Dan Byrne, wasn't it? And it was a great opportunity, but another good block from the Sheffield United defenders. They've had to defend that 18-yard box a couple of times in the last 2 or 3 minutes. but certainly no lack of entertainment from both teams.
It's been a breathtaking opening 11 minutes at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Sheffield United 1. Remember, the Blades have to win today to keep their status as a Premier League side for now. Osborne over the top towards Brereton. Diaz helps it on its way. Brooks inside the penalty area, nearly comes towards Brooks. Byrne didn't do enough to get it clear, and Dubravka has to step in and get it away from the edge of his penalty area. And then the offside flag is up against Isak, about a yard inside the Sheffield United half.
Oh, Andre Brooks probably just thought he's going to nick that before Dubravka was going to get there from a short pass from Dan Byrne, and fortunately from Newcastle's perspective, he got there quickly enough and cleared it. But Sheffield United are playing with no fear. They're on the front foot, in possession. They're looking brave, they're looking confident, they're looking a threat, and out of possession as well. They're quick to close down the Newcastle players, not allowing them too many opportunities to get the head up and get free passes, free shots around the box. And when they've had them chances, they've been very quick to make them blocks and tackles.
We've delivered you almost 60 commentaries throughout April across the TalkSport network. They're continuing to come today. Of course, more Premier League action for you tonight on TalkSport. It's Aston Villa against Chelsea. Villa chasing that Champions League spot for fourth place. Chelsea needing to get themselves back at it after they took a thumping, of course, in midweek without Cole Palmer. I'm sure he'll be back tonight for Chelsea. That's live on TalkSport from 8 o'clock tonight. Another commentary for you coming once we're done here. It's Champions League. Chelsea, of course, against Barcelona in the Women's Champions League. That's at 5:30 here on TalkSport 2, followed by Hull against Ipswich tonight from the Championship. A busy day of football, whatever you're up to. Make sure you've got that app downloaded. Here's Harmer. Harmer tries to hit it on the half volley at the edge of the penalty area, and he's penalised this time round for the foul on Lewis Miley, and it will be a free kick for Newcastle, which they've taken quickly. Hall was the player that was fouled that time, of course. Him and Anthony Gordon looking quite similar as well, and both playing on this left-hand side just to be quite annoying.
Throw Longstaff into that. No, Anderson, he's got the same look as well, so quite easy to get recognised.
They're all quite similar, aren't they? Actually, they were very kind last time out. Of course, they had special Champions League shirts that they wore again with the white patches on, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
They've decided not to wear them again today.
Yeah, as we're sat here with both pairs of glasses on, looking to work out names and numbers.
Yeah, we'll get there. Anderson into Guimaraes, 25 yards out from goal. Pushing to the right-hand side. Livramento's there. On that far touchline is Murphy. Hall's lurking around the edge of the penalty area as well. Murphy on the left foot, tries the shot, and it just fizzes away and beyond Fotheringham's right-hand post, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Almost 14 minutes played. You're listening to TalkSport 2, and it remains Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1. Here's Simon Grace.
Yeah, you just saw Jacob Murphy there playing a little bit more advanced today, back in his usual position on the right wing from right back recently. Come inside onto his left foot. Just when you see somebody opening up, taking it with the left foot, you're thinking, is he going to bend it into that far corner? This time it was nowhere near that far post, and Wes Fotheringham was more than comfortable to let it go past. But a really good start from Sheffield United. Newcastle finding the feet a little bit more now, looking for that equaliser.
Livramento on that right-hand side for Newcastle United. Here's Lewis Hall down this left-hand side. An intriguing situation, of course, with Lewis Hall. £35 million is the agreed fee with Chelsea, and it's an obligation based on stipulations, but no one really clear what those stipulations are, as Longstaff helps it out wide on this left-hand side to Hall again, but it's going to run out of play, and it'll be a throw-in by the corner flag on this near touchline, because he's only started 4 Premier League games since he joined, and there was all this talk about him being a wonder kid, but not really made his mark yet.
Yeah, maybe not, but maybe one for the future. That's the bigger picture that they're maybe looking in, getting him onto the pitch a little bit sort of in patches and giving them opportunities, but certainly got a bright future with a big price tag on his head.
Yeah, he's only 19 years of age, of course, and that's played back by Cher on halfway to Dubravka, who's well outside his penalty area and immediately sets Livramento away on that far side. Murphy will just keep possession on halfway. Back to Cher again. He's got Byrne alongside him, but he goes diagonal towards Anthony Gordon. Bogle will have to deal with it, and does. He finds Holgate at the edge of his own penalty area on loan from Everton. He's not had the best of times, really, has Mason Holgate this season. 3 red cards, 11 yellow cards in 39 Premier League appearances.
Well, that's an understatement, isn't it?
Here's a good chase on down that left-hand side. Archer's got there first, actually, ahead of Cher. Brereton Diaz inside. Archer still going. Archer must finish. Surely deflected. Wide and out for a corner on the left-hand side when no one made the tackle on Archer. It all opened up for him, but in the end, it's a vital block to put it behind for the corner on the far side.
Well, it's just a ball down the channel, the left-hand channel. Cameron Archer made a great run, get hold of it, went past far too easily into the box, and then really you're thinking, just get your shot off. And it allowed, I think, Dan Burn to come back across and get the block, but we saw him just wait too long on a previous opportunity. He's had 2 real good chances that he maybe should have had taken.
Corner towards the back post. Ahmed Hodzic goes up again, wins it, but nods it down and behind. He actually then tried to wrap his foot around it and tuck it in the near post, maybe rather than going for the far post.
But he took an extra touch. I think once he's come inside, the goal's opened up. He could have taken it a little bit earlier and not allowed the defender to come back to get a little block on him. But encouraging signs again from Sheffield United, playing the 2 up front. Diaz and Cameron Archer looking to work the 2 centre-backs of Shah and Dan Burn. And they have been a big threat, Sheffield United, today.
Sutton will be relegated from League 2 if they fail to win today. They're a goal down against MK Dons already in the playoffs, of course, in League 2. Jack Payne, the goal scorer for the MK Dons this afternoon. So at the moment, Sutton are on their way out of the Football League. Away to our right-hand side, Dubravka has it. We've been playing for 17 minutes, and it remains Newcastle United 0. Sheffield United 1. The goal from Anel Ahmed Hodzic. An early start for Sheffield United, and a good start as well with that header. And they've been on the front foot for large periods of the opening exchanges here. They have a throw down this right hand side again. It's all the way back to Holgate, and the goal scorer, who will find Fotheringham at the edge of his own penalty area, away to our left-hand side. He chips the ball forward, offside flag against Brereton Diaz, who gather possession. The referee says play on. Anthony Gordon sips it in. Isak inside the box. Bogle gets in there. Fotheringham can't pick it up. Anthony Gordon tried to spin and shoot. Gimaresh, edge of the penalty area, tried to get the shot away, goes down. Referee waves play on, no free kick, and a chance maybe for Sheffield United to counter, but Dan Burn is there to block it out midway inside his own half.
To be fair, really good refereeing from Harrington. He was about to give a free kick, which allowed the advantage for Newcastle, and then Gimaresh got in around the box, but just stumbled and allowed Sheffield United to counter-attack well. So they get criticised, referees, but I thought that was really good play.
Livramento towards the byline, lays it back, and it's Longstaff who tried to fire on target. It was half blocked. Gimaresh trying to win it, edge of the penalty area. In goes Longstaff to win it once more, and the ball goes out of play on this near side. No, it's kept in brilliantly on this near touchline by Anderson. Anderson on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Hall outside him. Anderson on the right foot tries the shot. It's blocked. Comes all the way out to Cher. Cher to the right hand side. Livramento 30 yards from goal. Newcastle on the attack. Incessant pressure. Murphy down that right hand side. Livramento's after it, but it's going to be shepherded out of play, and it will be a goal kick away to our left hand side for Sheffield United. What a breakneck game of football this is.
It's not been a dull moment, has there? It's just been constant end to end. As I mentioned there previously, the referee has been good in respect of he's allowed a couple of tackles that maybe people would have thought might have been a free kick, but he's allowed the advantage that's led to this entertaining game. And I think when you look at Sheffield United, they've been very brave in what they've been doing. When they're in the Newcastle have the ball with the back four, they push people on and go man for man all across the pitch, and that allows us space if they do miss the press that Newcastle can get at Sheffield United.
Barrow are currently in the playoff places in League 2. They have lost 5 of their last 6 games though, and they're behind against already promoted Mansfield. So it's Barrow 0, Mansfield 1, opening up opportunities for those tucked in behind them in League 2 to potentially grab a playoff spot, of course. Here's Newcastle on the attack, midway through the centre with Anderson taken down by Harmer. That's going to be a free kick midway inside the Newcastle United half, and you can hear the ironic cheers and celebrations as the Newcastle fans feel they're being a little bit hard done by so far by referee Tony Harrington.
Well, with those rose-tinted glasses that all home supporters up and down the country will be wearing at any stage of the season, never mind the important stage of the season where European places are at stake, especially at St James's Park.
You're listening to Newcastle against Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton against Brentford live today, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Here's the free kick for Newcastle, midway inside the Sheffield United half. Left-footed ball swung in by Lewis Hall and gathered by Fotheringham at the edge of his 6-yard box. Back in favour, of course. He was on Wednesday night against Manchester United, and he keeps his place today. And well, I mean, it is his 26th start of the season, but Grbić was clearly brought in from Atletico Madrid in January, but not quite worked out for him. And as a goalkeeper, when you're brought back in by the manager, it must be tough, but also must give you a moment of glee, really, I guess.
Well, the thing with goalkeepers is you can be out the team a long time and you can also be in it a long time as well, and that's that little brigade that they have, that they've got the union together, that they know they're there for each other, but when they get the opportunities, they've got to try and take it, and Chris has given him opportunity the other night and kept his place, and he'll be looking to cement it for the rest of the season.
The lowest scorers away from home in the Premier League are in front at St James's Park. They lead by a 1-0, and we've had almost 22 minutes on the clock on TalkSport 2. That's a poor ball from Harmer. I think he's expecting Bogle to move. Bogle perhaps could have made some effort to challenge Lewis Hall, who finds Gordon. Hall down this left-hand side. Hall on his left foot, just checked inside by Bogle. Guimaraes, 25 yards out. Tees that one up for Livramento. Livramento, those bright orange boots to the far side, finds Murphy, then goes down the line. Murphy, little 1-2 back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes again trying to work some space. He's challenged by Arblaster, goes wide to the right where Livramento's waiting, level with a penalty spot on that far touchline. Osborne nips in, gets the ball out, and now a chance maybe for Harmer to spread play forward, and it's a great ball to Osborne down the middle, completely unchallenged. Bogle's coming on this right hand touchline. Brereton Diaz drops short. Osborne slips it through the middle for Bogle, who continues his run, and Dubravka's there, and it was good working back by Lewis Hall that time.
Yeah, great covering there, because Sheffield United got into a real good position. Hamer to Osborne, who saw that Jayden Bogle was making a run inside Lewis Hall, and he played the ball. It looked like he was going to be first onto it, but he got across and defended it as a good fullback should do.
Big day in the Championship today. No goals so far throughout it though, and yet we could see Birmingham or Huddersfield relegated. Here's Gordon down the left hand side for Newcastle United, and it's clipped into touch. And reminder that Championship football tonight, of course, is Hull against Ipswich here on TalkSport 2, as Ipswich try and keep pace with already promoted Leicester City and potentially try and shut Leeds United out. I said that very quiet, Simon.
We said before kick-off that we would not be mentioning last night's result or anything to do with the Championship today. This is a Premier League game.
I was very, very surprised when I went through Leeds today that the sun was shining after last night. I thought there'd be storm clouds overhead, but
there's a lot of angry people around, that's for sure.
I bet there is. Isak does well. Guimaraes, is he going to unload the shot? No, again. He shuffles it to the right, where Murphy's in a good position. Good chance to cross here towards the back post, which he does, headed up in the air, and Fotheringham will just let it go over the top of his crossbar, and it's down and behind what will be a goal kick for Sheffield United away to our left-hand side. It's a chance for Fotheringham to clear his lines right now away to our left-hand side. We've had 23 and a half minutes in this game. It's currently Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 1, and for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport's 2 Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Newcastle at 3-4, Sheffield United at 29-10, and the draw is 16-5. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Here comes Sheffield United down that left-hand side. Brereton Diaz, he's got Archer in the middle. Brereton Diaz on his right foot, left foot, gets the shot away, and it's beaten away by Dubravka at his near post, and it had to be. Excellent from Brereton Diaz. Our blaster, 35-40 yards out from goal, as Sheffield United look to keep the attack going. Into the feet of Brereton Diaz again, and the Chilean international just slides as he loses possession to the Brazilian Guimaraes, who all those flags were meant for away to our right hand side today, as Longstaff tries to slide in but loses out. Here's Brooks down the middle. To the right is Harmer. It's Harmer he finds, who looks up to see his options, goes towards the edge of the box and Archer, but it was just played behind him and is easily cleared by Cher, but only as far again as our blaster. And Newcastle very sloppy in possession at times, trailing here by a 0 as Osborne turns infield. And again, our blaster will come back to Holgate. And now Sheffield United just happy to keep the ball. No need to play at that breakneck speed at this moment in time. Oh, Harmer's trying to get the better of Byrne, and Brereton Diaz wins it back. Here's Brooks. Brooks down this near side finds Bogle. Bogle is forced back to halfway, and Holgate I think is maybe going to bring Fotheringham. No, he goes to Arblaster instead, and they work it through Andre Brooks. And Newcastle United being given the runaround here by Sheffield United.
Yeah, they've been very good of Sheffield United. I think The two contrasting formations are interesting to watch, because Sheffield United playing the 3-5-2 and Brereton Diaz and Cameron Archer are occupying Shah and Byrne, and it's man for man in the middle of the pitch.
Here's Isak inside the penalty area on his right foot. Isak! He doesn't miss from there. Alexander Isak levels things up at St James's Park. 18 Premier League goals for the season, his 22nd in all competitions, and the 7th home game in a row that Isak has scored for Newcastle United. He's that talisman, and it's Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1.
Well, we just talk about how well Sheffield United had done and the opportunities they had, and then you look at the great ball and the great execution of the finish from Isaac. He just got down the side of Trusty, I think it is, and once he gets into them positions there, it was right foot across Wes Fodringham, back of the net, Newcastle back in it, but really against the run of play, because Sheffield United had the opportunity to get that second goal. Looks like potentially could be a sub going on here for Newcastle, actually.
50th start for Newcastle United for Alexander Isak, and he scores again, and his goal ratios are ridiculous. He's every 109 minutes prior to today, and his shot conversion as well, the best in the Premier League, up around 28%. And you look at how many games he's played this season, it's only his 23rd start, 3 as a sub, so he's missed a few, and yet there he is on 18.
Yeah, look, it was a great through ball in the first place, timing of his run. Some strikers might have gone a little bit too early and been offside, but he waited nicely, used his pace, and once he got that space, he didn't take the extra touch, he finished it first time, back of the net, and that's what he's all about. Fantastic player, and if they were to lose him in the summer, he would be a huge miss, because strikers are far and few between of the quality of it that he's got.
Emil Kraft is going to be coming on, so it would indicate there has to be an issue here for Newcastle United.
Shah, I think, is it?
Yeah, Shah does look. He struggled his way through the West Ham game, but they had so many injuries during that match. Lengthy conversations down below, and I think Shah may have just said, "No, I'm fine," and they've just stopped talking to Kraft for the moment. Eddie Howe turning round, and the fourth official, Rob Jones, just saying, "What are we doing? Are we doing this sub or not?" He's prepared to come on. He's stripped and ready to go. But I think, as we've seen throughout the campaign, Shah is the only Newcastle United player who started every Premier League game for them, and he does not want to come off. It's that simple.
Yeah, look, well, I don't think he's going to be coming off, because by the looks of it...
That's brilliant from Gordon, picking it up from Isak, then just tries to lay it back into Anderson, who's going to be penalised for the foul, and that'll be a free kick for Sheffield United midway inside their own half. I said there were no goals in the Championship, and suddenly it sprung to life. Sheffield Wednesday got that huge win against Blackburn last Sunday to lift them out of the bottom three for the first time since the first week of the season. They're a goal up on playoff chasing West Bromwich Albion. Anthony Musaba, who was excellent on Sunday, has got the goal there. That causes huge problems, of course, for Birmingham City and Huddersfield, who are still goalless as they meet today at the John Smith. And the other team who are in the playoffs at the moment, of course, in 6th spot, are Norwich City, and they're losing at home to Swansea City. Jamie Patterson with the goal for Swansea. So West Brom would have lost 5th place, but at the moment both teams are losing. Here's Isak, edge of the penalty area, gets the shot away and just fizzes wide of the right hand post of Foderingham, and Newcastle United just starting to kind of kick into life.
Yeah, they're playing with a bit more tempo in that final third, and once Isak had it there, got it out his feet quickly, and he doesn't take the extra touch, he takes it early, he doesn't allow the goalkeepers to get set. He took it early, and this time the only disappointment probably from us all inside St James's Park was that it went past the far post instead of nestling inside it.
And the only two players that were ahead of Isak in terms of consecutive goal-scoring appearances at St James's Park were, of course, Alan Shearer, which is no surprise, and Andy Cole as well. The two that are in the sights of Alexander Isak, but he's up to 7 in a row here now, and has been so crucial for
If he
Newcastle.
gets anywhere closer to them two, then he won't be a bad player, will he?
Probably end up with a statue somewhere outside, actually, to be fair. That's the way it tends to work, isn't it? 29, almost 30 minutes played. Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1. You're listening to TalkSport 2. And now a charge through the middle. Ahmed Hodzic to Brereton Diaz. He's got the other side of Byrne. Rounds the keeper. Brereton Diaz. And finally, it's cut out by Byrne at the edge of the 6-yard box, who turns round to his midfield and says, "What are you doing?" And it'll be a corner for Sheffield United.
Oh, fantastic opportunity. Great run. And then he slid the ball down the side of the centre-back. Brereton Diaz made a great run Could he have taken it earlier? No, probably good opportunity to go around the goalkeeper just as he's about to make contact. He had Dan Burn coming back across and didn't really get the contact that he would have really liked, firing it into that back of the net because it was opening up for him. But again, opportunity for Sheffield United to get back into the game.
They're not going without a fight, Sheffield United. One apiece here, and the corner down this right-hand side will be delivered in by Ben Osborne, given short. Osborne will whip it at the second attempt to the back post where it's nodded down into the danger zone off the frame of the goal as well. Ahmed Hodzic again, and then Brooks fires his shot in, and it's just wide.
Oh, two unbelievable opportunities. First, Mason Holgate with a header hits the corner of the post and the crossbar, then it comes back out to Brooks, was it? And then you're expecting him to just hit the target. He's hit it with tremendous pace, goes past the post, and another big let-off for Newcastle there.
Oh, gosh, the 3 headers in a row there were won by Sheffield United and eventually hitting the woodwork. The defending from Newcastle United, well, at times this season it's been, well, missing would be the phrase I would probably use. And how they can win just 3 consecutive headers in that manner.
Yeah, they've been vulnerable, to be fair, haven't they? Every time Sheffield United get into certain areas of this attacking third, they do look like they've got the opportunity to score because of the threat of Archer and Birrett and Diaz playing up alongside against Burns and Kraft. But also the runners from midfield are getting into some good positions. And really, if Sheffield United had taken a couple of more opportunities, there could have been 2-1, 3-1 up even.
Well, all 3 centre-backs had a header in then, and then eventually off the frame of the goal. Extraordinary that nobody was able to close any of them down or at least affect them. Eddie Howe's furious, and no surprise, he's not far away from us here.
Well, it's not as if Newcastle haven't got too many big players on the pitch because Dan Burn and Fabian Schär are 6 foot plus, aren't they? And Isaac 6 foot plus. You look at Longstaff as well, so it's not as if they've been dominated by a team that are full of smaller players against the bigger players.
Charge on down the right hand side for Murphy, early ball across and straight into the arms of Fotheringham at the edge of his 6-yard box away to our left hand side, and immediately Fotheringham tries to find Archer, and Byrne will take the throw very quickly for Newcastle United, just short of halfway. 33 minutes played. It remains Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Reminder, we'll keep you up to date with the other goals as they go in throughout the afternoon. Livramento down this right hand side swings an early ball over. Harmer will head that ball clear, and on that far side Gimaresh has picked up the loose ball. Doncaster Rovers are in front against Gillingham by a goal to nil. What a run they are on right now into those playoff places in League 2. And on this left hand side, should I say, it's Gordon goes short to Anderson. Here's Gimaresh, 25 yards out. Isak gets it back off him. Gimaresh again to Livramento on that right hand side. Gimaresh once more, pushing it to the far touchline. Murphy's there, patient, edge of the penalty area, but on the far touchline. Goes back to Livramento. Gimaresh again into the feet of Isak, who's forced out by some good defensive work that time by Ahmed Hodzic. And now again they'll bring Murphy in from that far touchline, who cuts inside on his right foot. Space here for Gimaresh, closed down immediately by 2 though, and has to go wide to Murphy. And then Longstaff joins in the fun. And now Murphy's on the overlap, tries to cut the ball back first time. Osborne's on the ground, it's coming to the edge of the penalty area. Hall's there with the shot. Diaz just plays it back inside his own box to Holgate, who tries to clear, takes a slight defection. Brooks then at the edge of the penalty area will turn and spin and gets it away up towards Archer. Header one comfortably towards Livramento, and Newcastle will have it once more.
Yeah, you're trying to see Newcastle get the overloads into the wide areas with the formation that Sheffield United are playing, the fullbacks joining in on this near side, Gordon and Hall, and on the other side Livramento and Murphy, and want to make them runs in there. They've had bodies in there. This time it gets blocked out, but falls to Lewis Hall on it to his right foot rather than his left foot, and they're trying to exploit them wide areas which are the vulnerable parts for Sheffield United.
Yeah, half cleared by Sheffield United, out to a throw on the far side again. Murphy causing problems down that right hand side for this Sheffield United defence. 10.5 minutes to go to half time. Gimaresh has the ball on that right hand side into Livramento, who's come inside in this time. Then Longstaff helps it out to Murphy on that far side. He's level with the edge of the penalty area. Good challenge coming in this time from Brooks, and the ball just snaps and breaks away towards halfway, where Fabian Schär is there, who looks to be moving okay now. Kraft has sat back down in the dugout just beneath us. There's Hall, infield to Gimaresh again. Isak is going to chase that one. It's been clipped over the top for Isak to try and get there. Austin Trustia gets across and puts the ball out of play on that far side, but the free kick's been given, and it'll be a chance for Sheffield United to clear their lines. You're listening to Newcastle against Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. In the Championship, Norwich have equalised. Gabriel Sarrar with the equaliser against Swansea City. Norwich 1, Swansea 1. A reminder, West Brom losing to Sheffield Wednesday right now in the Championship. And Colchester United are in front. Noah Chilvers has scored against Crewe. So it's Colchester 1, Crewe 0. A reminder, the fact that Sutton are losing means that Colchester will stay up anyway. The results have certainly been better in recent weeks, but Crewe as well themselves, they've lost their last 2 games. They're 6th in the table right now, and they could be in jeopardy of their playoff place. But we'll keep you across the situation in League 2 and also the penultimate weekend in the Championship as well, and very quiet in the Premier League as well for goals too. Another Championship goal, Southampton 0, Stoke City 1. Tyrese Campbell is on target for the Potters. Back here at St James's Park, the ball into the feet of Anderson, edge of the penalty area. Guimaraes is there, 30 yards out. Guimaraes is just trying to direct operations. Longstaff not moving where he wanted him to though, so it goes to Murphy on that right hand side. Guimaraes wants it back. He's almost in that kind of quarterback role, just lurking at the edge of the area all the time, not really unloading shots, but constantly just trying to feed the ball out to the wide areas to try and get in dangerous positions.
Yeah, he just sat there looking to spread play from left to right, right to left, and trying to wait for that opportunity to get the overload to full-backs against wide players against Sheffield United's back 5.
Here's Isak down this left-hand side, ball at feet, gives it out wide to Hall. Hall clips it towards that back post, evades everyone, does it? Murphy was coming in, but it has gone out of play. Sean Massey-Ellis is our assistant on that far side. The flag goes up, and it will be a goal kick for Sheffield United. Don't forget, TalkSport Breakfast is back from 6 a.m. on Monday, looking back on all the weekend's action. Of course, Man City in action tomorrow afternoon. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist will be in charge of things on Monday morning. Of course, if you prefer waking up to some tunes, Chris Evans is on Virgin every morning at 6:30. What you need is your TalkSport app. It's your one-stop shop for all your stations, so you can happily swipe between them to suit your requirements. Download it now from your favourite app store. It'll bring you all our live commentaries as well, of which of course we have 3 more later today across the TalkSport network. Problem here for Andre Brooks.
Well, at least it gives everybody to have a bit of a pause and come for breath, to be fair, because it's been a enthralling 38 minutes, end-to-end action. Both teams have been very positive, looking for the wins. I think if I was a Sheffield United player, I wouldn't be too happy with Wes Foderingham about 2 minutes ago. They were under the cosh and he gets it and he launches it from looking for a quick break when really could have just taken the sting out of it and just had a little bit of a breather. And it's alright for them goalkeepers sometimes not running around for 90 minutes, and the midfield players chasing Guimaraes etc. could do with a bit of a breather. But it's been a really exciting and really entertaining game, hasn't it?
Reminder earlier on today, it finished West Ham 2, Liverpool 2 in the Premier League. That surely rules Liverpool out of that title race once and for all. Earlier on in League 1, we confirmed Portsmouth already, we knew were up. Derby joined them automatically. The playoffs, Bolton, Peterborough, Oxford and Barnsley are the 4 side in the playoffs, and Cheltenham dropping down into League 2 for next season. Lincoln the side that missed out on a playoff place today. Andre Brooks still down, receiving treatment on the far side. It's given an opportunity for both coaches just to reset things here. There's been a goal in the Premier League and that's come at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Luton Town 0. Hwang, he had a good goal ruled out in midweek in that defeat against Bournemouth, but he scored today, his first in the Premier League in 2024 for Hwang Hee-chan, and that gives Wolves the advantage, and that could spell doom and gloom for Luton Town, of course. Right, Brooks looks like he's okay to continue. He's gone off on the far side. Long conversation here between Ben Osborne and Brereton Diaz and Bogle and Arblaster as well. They do seem, I saw them earlier in the season when they started slapping each other and they weren't very happy, some of the Sheffield United players. They do seem a much more cohesive unit now.
Yeah, look, you've got to respect each other. You've got to sort of have a bit of fire in your belly as well, but make sure that you're playing for each other and that shirt that you're wearing. And the evidence of 40 minutes now that are into this game that they are together, that they've had a real good go at this game, and they're not wanting to go down that people have been labelling, and that they're not going to be giving it any fight whatsoever.
Holgate down this right hand side, early ball played into the penalty area. Harmer's going to try and win a second header, but instead it will come out to Anthony Gordon. Holgate goes in with a challenge. Referee's happy with the challenge, says he got the ball. Eddie Howe is absolutely furious. Anthony Gordon's down as that one's slipped to the right edge of the penalty area. Dubravka comes across, being chased down by Archer, and Newcastle have possession. Gordon is up and about, so they won't put the ball out of play. Instead they'll try and break down that right hand side, and it's going to be Livramento who's coming forward on that far touchline. Gordon just walking away slightly gingerly. Plenty of conversation with Rob Jones, the fourth official down below, but Tony Harrington happy with his decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's right in front of us, isn't it, Adam, that I think Mason Holgate got across and got the tackle quite clearly, and I think maybe just caught Gordon a little bit with the follow through, nothing intentional, or maybe how Gordon fell, he just sort of banged his knee or something like that, but he seems to be alright. So I think all round it's the right decision. Not that the 50-odd thousand or plus whatever's going to be here going to agree with us or me.
Yeah, well, it's all forward down that left hand side towards Anthony Gordon. It's short for Anderson. Left hand touchline is waiting for the ball once more is Anthony Gordon. He's got Hall down the line. He comes in field on his right foot again, finds Longstaff, who's just patrolling midway inside the Sheffield United half. Livramento on that far side, ball forward to him down the right. Murphy trying to get the better this time on that far touchline of the previously injured Andre Brooks, of course, putting a bit of pressure on him, but the ball runs out of play, and again it will be a goal kick away to our left hand side for Sheffield United. Luke Molyneux has his 10th goal of the season in all competitions for Doncaster, who are leading 2-0 now down at Gillingham. They've won their last 10 games prior than today to get them up to 5th in the table.
Incredible run, that.
It is quite remarkable, and they've got their playoff place, and who knows what they say about momentum going into playoffs. They're going to be the team that everyone wants to avoid.
Yeah, definitely.
Throw in on this near side for Sheffield United, midway inside their own half. Still 1-1 here, last 2.5 minutes of the first half. You're listening to TalkSport 2, keeping you abreast of the goals as they go in, as this brilliant season, and I mean every division, every level, it's been a fantastic season. There's so much at stake for so many teams, keeping you across those moments as Sheffield United here try to win to keep their Premier League status for at least another week. On that far side, Arblaster does brilliantly, skips away from the first challenge and the second, now finds Brereton Diaz inside the centre circle. Brooks down that left hand side, he's got Archer ahead of him. Osborne's coming on the overlap. Brereton Diaz comes short though, and it does go back to Osborne on that far side, and his 12th start of the campaign today for Ben Osborne on that far touchline. Hasn't scored for Sheffield United since 2022, but he's been involved early on in this game here on that far touchline. In what's been an impressive performance by this Sheffield United side so far, as he clips the ball over the top and round the corner for Brereton Diaz, who takes it at the edge of the penalty area, comes back to Brooks. Brooks will then go forward, and then outside of him again is Osborne on that far side. Brereton Diaz drops in short this time to pick up possession, and now Holgate is going to join in the attack down this right hand side. He's got Bogle ahead of him. Bogle then just inside Hall, and Holgate tries to help it on its way, and the ball goes out for what will be a throw to Sheffield United, level with the penalty spot down this right hand side.
I think if you're Chris Wilder, you'd be delighted how his players have played and what they've contributed to this game so far. But also I think he'll be even more delighted that his younger players have really stood up to a difficult atmosphere and get some good players. The likes of Brooks, Hamer and Arblaster, especially in midfield, have been very impressive, and if they go down, which we're talking about is probably going to happen, that these lads could play a big future in the Championship and try and get back into the Premier League at first gas for Chris and Sheffield United.
It does almost feel like Chris has had his eye on that for probably about the last 5 or 6 weeks, doesn't it? That he's always talked about the fact there's going to have to be a real rebuild at this football club. And here's Bogle down the right hand side, gets that cross away, all bounces inside the penalty area. Everyone left it to run, and Livramento is going to try and break down that right hand side. Brooks is checking his run all the way and brings Murphy in for a little bit of support, does Livramento, and he gets it back midway inside his own half. And the frustration from the home support is the fact they have stopped midway inside their own half and didn't continue to bomb forward. That's what they like around here. He's Gordon down this left-hand side. He's got Hall jogging outside him on this left-hand side. It allows Gordon just to cut inside as Bogle sends Holgate out to mark the run of Hall. And then there's going to be 4 added minutes at the end of this first half when we're into it. It's Murphy on that far side. Just goes back short to Livramento. Guimaraes is there and will probably want it, and he does. He gets it 30 yards out from goal. Guimaraes then onto his left foot. He's going to get the shot away, but it's well wide of the left-hand post of Wes Fotheringham, away to our left-hand side. And we've had 30 seconds of the 4 minutes added. Here's the former Leeds boss, Simon Grayson.
Yeah, Newcastle looking to just keep it moving from side to side, waiting for that little run and a slide rule pass between full-back and outside centre-back of this back three of Sheffield United. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. This time it fell to Guimaraes, who had a swing with his left foot and didn't trouble Wes Fotheringham, who's getting a bit of a stick at the moment for slowing down his goal kick. But Sheffield United have done really well. I've been really impressed with them today, but probably going to be too little too late.
Goal for Bradford on the stroke of half-time. Callum Kavanagh is the goal scorer for Bradford. They've won their last 4 games and they're ahead today. They lead Newport by a goal to nil. Massive goal at the foot of the Championship. Huddersfield Town 0, Birmingham City 1. Koji Oshie, the goal scorer. There was a set of results today that had Birmingham City lost, they could have found themselves relegated, but Huddersfield probably will go down if Birmingham City win that game. So Oshie with the goal on 45 minutes for Birmingham City. And elsewhere in the Championship, Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 1. Here's Archer to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Brereton Diaz is there. Here's Bogle now, 25 yards out from goal. In it goes towards Archer, edge of the box on his left foot. Archer gets the shot away, but he just pulled it looking for this near corner, and Dubravka will immediately set Newcastle United away again.
Yeah, I think when you look at Sheffield United, they're probably just snatching at opportunities, probably lack of confidence when they're getting in that 18-yard box.
Now Murphy down that right-hand side, Livramento setting him away. He's tracked all the way by Osborne. Livramento's continued his run at the byline, pops it across just over the top of Isak, comes to the edge of the box. Hall is there, evades the challenge of Brereton Diaz, shoots, great save, low down by Fotheringham, and it's a terrific stop. We were right behind that, and Hall had poked that into that far corner, and Fotheringham with a terrific stop.
Yeah, it fell to Lewis Hall on his left foot favoured, and it looked like it was going in that bottom corner, like I said, from where we're sat, and Wes Fotheringham got a big left hand and palmed it away out of the way of a black and white shirt.
That's brilliant from Archer. He's evaded the attempted pullback by Scher, but then his pass is poor, and now Gordon will try and get in, but Holgate's got that covered. Former, of course, Everton colleagues, those two, and Holgate reads that one nicely and gets it up towards Fotheringham. Archer is down on the floor. We've had, nearly 3 minutes of the 4 added at the end of this first half. It remains 1-1 on TalkSport 2. Here's Guimaraes inside the centre circle. To the left-hand side he goes, where he picks out the advancing Lewis Hall. Hall has had a sight of goal moments ago. This time he goes back to Byrne. Archer is up and about, limping though, midway inside the Newcastle United half. Guimaraes has got Livramento outside him. Instead he goes for an inch-cut ball into the box to try and find Isak. It's half cleared to Gordon, then back to Byrne. Here's Hall again on this left-hand side. Anderson's there too. All the yellow shirts, apart from that of Archer, are back defending the penalty area away to our left-hand side. Guimaraes is there as they try and feed their way through that wall of yellow. Murphy tries to get to the byline as Guimaraes snips that ball through, but there's too much on it and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just tried that pass again, didn't he, between left centre-back and left wing-back. Jacob Murphy looking to run onto a straight pass. Just this time it was a little bit too heavy and went out for the goal kick, and probably that's going to be half time, I would suggest, and been a good half from both teams. Very entertaining, and hopefully we get much of the second half.
Well, it's been an enthralling opening 45 or 49 minutes, should we say. All started very early by that goal inside 5 minutes for Sheffield United and Ahmed Hodzic, but Isak cancelling it out on 26, and the half-time whistle blows, and for now Sheffield United's Premier League status is still alive. That goal from Ahmed Hodzic after 5 minutes silenced St James's Park, but they were on their feet again on 26. Isak pulling things level. The better chances, though, you'd feel have probably gone the way of Sheffield United in this game, and that really top save by Fotheringham towards the end of the half there to deny Lewis Hall. But it's even Stevens at the break at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 1, Sheffield United 1.
Adam Bridge, thank you. So for now, Sheffield United staving off relegation. They're level here at St James's Park. Simon, a couple of minutes in, Adam Bridge called this a basketball match. I thought that described it absolutely perfectly. It was end-to-end stuff, but what a start it was for Sheffield United as well. They took the lead within 5 minutes. Ahmed Odzic with the header, and they fully deserved it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They started the game brightly. They got into some good opportunities, and then they've worked a short corner and fed it to the far post where the big centre-back got up and headed it downwards and give them a 1-0 lead that they certainly deserved. And when you look at the rest of the game or the rest of the half, there's been plenty of opportunities for both teams. Probably the biggest difference is the Sheffield United strikers are not playing with the confidence and belief that you'd expect where they are at this moment in time. If they'd been on a 2 or 3 winning game form or something like that, they might have finished 1 or 2 of the opportunities they've had. But Newcastle do look a threat with Guimaraes pulling the strings in midfield. Isaac that's looking to get in between centre-back and full-back. But it's been a really entertaining game with lots of incidents and opportunities.
Yeah, and it just took one moment, didn't it, for Newcastle to get level. Ice cool Isak once again, and it was a classic Isak goal, wasn't it? The finish into the bottom corner, and that just shows why there are so many suitors for him, because once again from him it was a lethal finish.
Well, it was, and it was a great ball in the first place between the left centre-back and left wing-back, which is a ball that Newcastle have been looking to play a few times because he's got the pace and he timed his run really well, and he just waited to get into his stride, and then once he got into the box, he hit it first time, give Foderingham no chance when it went across him into that bottom corner, and that just shows the belief, the confidence and the huge prospect and ability that the player has got.
You're right to point out though as well, there were chances for Sheffield United. Archer came close, his shot deflected wide as well. Brereton Diaz has looked really dangerous throughout the first half as well. Why do you think that Newcastle have looked so vulnerable at the back? Because there's been so many times throughout the game so far where Archer and Diaz seem to have just had the run on share at the back.
Well, I think the way that Sheffield United are playing, they're playing 2 strikers up front, and they're occupying them, they're making the runs in behind them, which is keeping the Newcastle centre-backs on the toes, and they're both willing runners, and they've both got a bit of pace about them. The difference has been that when they've had opportunities to take them a little bit earlier, they've not taken them. They've took that extra touch and allowed the defenders to get back, and if you do that against Premier League defenders, more times than not they're going to get blocks and stop you from scoring. But they have been impressive when they've been looking to get forward.
Yeah, indeed, and it's been very entertaining as well, hasn't it? Let's hope that continues in the second half. Plenty of football though going on today and later on today as well. Let's look ahead to this weekend's Premier League action with Now.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Brentford live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
TalkSport's Matt Jones is at Goodison Park for Everton against Brentford. Matt, firstly, what a week it has been for Everton. They beat their Merseyside rivals Liverpool to move themselves well clear of danger, but it must have tasted sweet, mustn't it, to stop Klopp from winning that title in the process as well. That draw for Liverpool as well today at West Ham probably means they're not going to get there too, but from an Everton perspective as well, to move themselves so clear of danger, it's so brilliant for the club, isn't it?
About 3 or 4 weeks ago they were looking in real danger. There was still that extra points deduction that they were waiting to find out what they get, but it's now 3 wins from their last 4 matches, and if the Luton result stays as it is now, as if Everton win today, then Everton will be safe from relegation. So it's been a remarkable turn of form. They've managed to get themselves back into winning ways at just the right time, and that Merseyside derby victory obviously was incredibly sweet for them, and that maybe gives you the feeling that perhaps today could be a little bit after the Lord Mayor show. You've put in all that effort, you've got those 3 wins in 4 games, you've beaten your big city rivals, and then to have this game against Brentford just 3 or 4 days later, they've got to lift themselves and they've got to go again, and Sean Dyche will know exactly how to do that, but it might be difficult to put in the same level of performance just 3 or 4 days later.
And it's a Brentford side as well though, Matt, who are in good form themselves. They've hit form at the right time, 2 wins in their last 2, and they could provide a bit of a test today.
Absolutely, and they're a good team, aren't they? They came here and won under Thomas Frank a couple of years ago, I think, and as you say, they found form at exactly the right time. Luton found that out last week with that 5-1 win, and again, Brentford are safe if Luton lose today, so for Brentford there's maybe that carrot dangling if Luton do get back into it of just needing a point or something to stay up, so there's plenty for them to play for, but as you say, they are finding form at the right time. They've got the attacking weapons that can hurt Everton, particularly from set pieces, which is where Everton have struggled at times this season, and that might be something that Thomas Frank will be looking to exploit.
Matt Jones, thank you very much indeed. That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton against Brentford live today, contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Brentford live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Just in front of us here at St James's Park, Newcastle's women's team are being presented with their trophy on the pitch. They secured promotion to the Championship this season. Amanda Staveley right in the middle of the photo as well, so congratulations to them. Right now though, it's Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1 in the Premier League here at St James's Park. We're going to bring you all the latest half-time scores and the second half next.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton versus Brentford live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Don't break your stride. Get to Screwfix for the latest offers on the brands you love. Like the new and exclusive limited edition DeWalt 100-year 18-volt combi drill with 4 amp-hour battery for just $119.99. And keep everything stacked and packed with a DeWalt T-Stack organizer at the great price of only $19.99. Shop now on the app at screwfix.com or in-store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until at least 6th of May, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal. So let's see who can shout Uno first.
Bring it on.
Yes. Ooh, no! A wild card! Right. Yes, back in the game. Yes! Ooh, no! Draw one card.
Uno. Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh, some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11am. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only, while stocks last.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hey, fancy scoring £1,000 for your local football club? Well, you're in luck because The Sun has teamed up with Tesco's Stronger Starts programme to create the Footy for All Fund, offering £150,000 in grants to help out grassroots youth football clubs. 150 clubs will each get £1,000 to be used in any way that helps children continue to enjoy the sport they love. So if your club or club in your area needs a boost, apply for a grant today at thesun.co.uk/footy fund. T's and C's apply.
Mwah. When it's lunch o'clock, I just eat the tortilla naked burrito bowl.
Oh, I didn't know you could get those.
There's a lot you don't know, dear.
Well, I know that shirt's not coming back into fashion anytime soon.
Touché.
Get tortilla, Subway, Pret, and more delivered. For lunch and everything else.
Did somebody say just eat?
Charges apply. Check available restaurants in your area and opening times on justeat.co.uk for details.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
This is Game Day. Halftime Classifieds.
You're listening to TalkSport 2. I'm Ollie Klink here at St James's Park. It's currently one apiece between Newcastle and Sheffield United. We'll bring you the second half here very soon. But what's happening elsewhere? Let's get your half-time classified scores, shall we? Starting with
Premier League.
In the Premier League, earlier on, live on TalkSport, it finished West Ham 2, Liverpool 2. Elsewhere at half-time, Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0, Burnley 0, Here it's Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1, live on TalkSport 2. It's Wolves 1, Luton 0. Later on today at 5:30 it's Everton against Brentford, and then from 8 o'clock live on TalkSport it's Aston Villa against Chelsea.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the Championship, it's Blackburn 0, Coventry 0, still waiting for half-time in that game. Bristol City 1, Rotherham 0, Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 0, Huddersfield 0, Birmingham 0, Millwall 0, Plymouth 0, Norwich 2, Swansea 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, West Brom 0, Southampton 0, Stoke City 1, Watford 0, Sunderland 0, and later on at 8 o'clock on TalkSport 2, it's Hull against Ipswich.
Sky Bet League One.
The final day of League One was brought to you earlier here on TalkSport 2. Here are the full-time scores. Barnsley 1, Northampton 1, Derby 2, Carlisle 0, Exeter 1, Oxford United 2, Fleetwood 3, Burton 0, Lincoln 0, Portsmouth 2, Peterborough 3, Bolton 3, Port Vale 0, Cambridge United 0, Reading 3, Blackpool 2, Shrewsbury 1, Leyton Orient 3, Stevenage 2, Cheltenham 1, Wigan 2, Bristol Rovers 0, and Wycombe 1, Charlton 0.
Sky Bet League 2.
Now we go to League 2. Half-time scores. Accrington 1, Tranmere 1, Wimbledon 2, Walsall 1. It's Barrow 0, Mansfield 1, Bradford City 2, Newport 0, Colchester 1, Crewe 0, Crawley 2, Grimsby 0, Forest Green 0, Notts County 0, Gillingham 0, Doncaster 2, MK Dons 2, Sutton 0, Salford 2, Harrogate 2, Swindon 2, Morecambe 2, and Wrexham 0, Stockport 1. I just ran you through there the League One scores. Let me tell you what those meant on the final day, by the way. Derby are up. They beat Carlisle by 2-0. It will be Bolton, Peterborough, Oxford and Barnsley in the playoffs. Derby going up with Portsmouth, I should say, by the way. They were confirmed as champions last week. Whilst Cheltenham couldn't save themselves from the relegation battle, they were relegated along with Carlisle, Fleetwood and Port Vale. After us here, though, on TalkSport 2, we'll be live at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea against Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final, with Chelsea 1-0 up from the first leg. We can preview that game now with our commentator Charlotte Richardson. Charlotte, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Well, after last week's triumph in the Spanish sunshine, Chelsea boss Emma Hayes has made her message loud and clear. It is only half-time. A perfect away day game plan saw the Blues beat Barcelona, inflicting defeat on the current champions for the first time and on their own patch in 5 years. It is an advantage, but a slender one. A 1-goal advantage, and the visitors are wounded. Barcelona aren't used to losing football matches and visit the capital with a point to prove as well as a deficit to overturn, which makes Chelsea's home advantage very important to utilise if they are to become the first English club to make the Champions League final twice. It is still the one trophy missing from Hayes' impressive tenure as boss. It is her final match in charge here at the Bridge as well. Her first was in front of 4,000 supporters. This evening's will be in front of 40,000. Will it be a sweet send-off? Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and I will be bringing you full commentary as Chelsea host Barcelona. Kick-off here at 5:30 p.m.
Looking forward to that one, Charlotte. Thank you very much indeed. Right here, though, on TalkSport 2, it's Newcastle 1, Sheffield United 1 at St James's Park. Sheffield United taking the lead early on in the game as well. Alexander Isak equalising midway through that first half for Newcastle. Alongside me, Simon Grayson, former Leeds manager. Simon, when you look at the bench for Newcastle United, as it has been for most of the season, it is pretty bare, and that's what also can be said about Sheffield United as well. So many injury problems for them too. But you look at some of those names. Harvey Barnes, who came out of the side, he played on Wednesday night at Selhurst Park. Is that the kind of option that's going to be important for Eddie Howe in this second half?
Well, it gives him the opportunity to mix it up, doesn't he, if he wants to do that. Harvey Barnes, you've got Callum Wilson as well, so they've got two really top players that can come on and influence this game. Where you look at Sheffield United's squad, really they are down to the bare bones without any quality really that it's going to do too much to change the team around. So yeah, you could expect Barnes maybe to come on for Murphy potentially, or Wilson comes on and they go to a 4-4-2 or something like that. So yeah, Freddie, they've got the opportunities, and it'd be interesting what they do, does Eddie.
Well, the players back out for the second half. Let's rejoin your commentary team then. Simon Grayson alongside Adam Bridge.
Well, we are going to see that change that almost happened in the first half. Fabian Schär has gone off. Emil Kraft does replace him, of course. Schär said no to it when Eddie Howe was trying to make it midway through that first half, but it has happened now, and it's Kraft that will just drop in alongside Dan Burn at the back for Newcastle United. A back line for Newcastle United that looked anything but convincing in that opening 45 minutes. Sun's out, beautiful day in the northeast. One apiece. Referee Tony Harrington's there. No other changes, and off we go.
The sun's out. I've been in India for 18 months. This is like
You've
very
been, I was
cold.
going to say, it's probably a bit chilly for you, isn't it?
It's certainly more than chilly.
It's beautiful. That's the former Leeds boss, Simon Grayson, who's alongside us here at St James's Park on TalkSport 2 this afternoon. And immediately it's Anthony Gordon who's going back to Lewis Hall on that far side. We'll run you through the two teams when there's a break in play. Steve Harmison, who is here alongside us for TalkSport, has provided the half-time biscuits, which have been devoured, I think it's fair to say.
By them, the two to the left of us, they were really into it, and we were really healthy, weren't we?
Incredibly so.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't mention the cake that Harmison had downstairs before he came up as well, but there we go. Down this right-hand side, it's Livramento trying to cut a ball through, but our blaster's there to win it back for Sheffield United at the edge of the penalty area. Then Brooks to find Osborne on this near side on halfway. Here's Trusty for Sheffield United. They're all in yellow today, yellow shirt, shorts and socks. As away to our right-hand side, it's cleared first time by Fotheringham, and they are defending the Gallagate in this second half, Sheffield United. And it's a throw-in on this near side for Newcastle United. Sean Longstaff not happy. He felt it should have been a free kick, but Tony Harrington indicates no, it's just a throw. And it's Livramento that will take it short to Guimaraes. Then back to Livramento, and they just play a game of headers and volleys. And in the end, Brereton Diaz steps in and picks up possession for Sheffield United. With that hair flowing, he always looks like he's tired, and he's put a real shift in, which he did in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's been a focal point for him as well. He's holding it up and allowed him and Archer to try and cause the Newcastle back four a few problems.
And they have a problem now because Archer's got it out wide. And this left-hand side, Brereton Diaz with a header. Doesn't make much contact. Just flicks off that flowing mane of his. And it's comfortably brought away on that far side by Lewis Hall.
Well, it's a big opportunity because he held it up in the first place and then he followed the phase of play and got into the box and really he's got hit the target. It's a massive opportunity, and that just sums up Sheffield United really in this game where they could have had 2 or 3 opportunities, goals.
Isak was trying to drive forward then towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's well defended by the visitors, and then Harmer runs it out of play on that far side. So for Newcastle United, Dubravka's in goal. It's Livramento, it's now Kraft who's on for Schär, Byrne and Hall across the back, Longstaff, Guimaraes and Anderson in midfield, with Murphy and Gordon providing the support to Isak, the goal scorer for Newcastle United. Here's Livramento on this right hand side for Newcastle. Goes back to Kraft. Wide on this right-hand touchline now is Anderson. Anderson looking to come in field. Osborne closes him down quickly. It's back with Kraft again. And now Longstaff towards the edge of the penalty area and to Murphy, who tries to turn it round the corner and finds Livramento. Now sliding it down the outside. Murphy to the byline. Gets the crossover, but puts it straight out of play for what will be a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Sheffield United have Fotheringham in goal. It's Holgate, Ahmed Hodzic and Trusty across the back. Bogle and Osborne are the wing backs. Harmer, our blaster, and Brooks in central midfield, with Archer and Brereton Diaz up top for Sheffield United, who I think are fairly frustrated, speaking to some of the Sheffield United team downstairs at half time, that they didn't take one of the 10 shots they had in that first half. In fact, it was 10 shots each. That's how open that game of football was here at St James's Park, and I'm sure we'll see more of that in this second half.
Yeah, it was a really entertaining first half, some good bits of quality. Again, I think we mentioned it, that the only difference really, Sheffield United didn't show the calmness or the coolness in front of goal, didn't have the opportunities to work the goalkeeper enough. We got into them opportunities but just took too many touches or weren't quick enough to offload the ball.
Here on the right hand side is Murphy. Livramento's gone ahead of him and he's got the ball on this right hand side. Brooks closes him down. He's level with the 6-yard box as he tries to lift it across the penalty area, but Brooks does well, blocks it out for a throw right by the corner flag on this right hand side. Fewest points away of any team in the Premier League this season so far, Sheffield United. They've just mustered the 6 and 1 victory in the 3 draws of what they've managed to date. There's a tug on the shirt of Murphy then by Brooks. Referee lets it go because Newcastle have kept possession. with Kraft on this right-hand side. Another appearance off the bench today for Emil Kraft for a 9th time this season for Newcastle United. And the 29-year-old Swede, who's had his injury woes since he's been here, is now settled in alongside Dan Burn. Guimaraes has it, tries to feed a ball through the middle to Isak, who was on the charge, but it's well read and blocked out that time. Quite comfortably, in fact, by Ahmed Hodzic. And now Brooks is on the charge to the edge of the penalty area, and everything just opened up for him because no one made a tackle, and then he got a bit ambitious with his left-footed shot, and it's over the crossbar.
Yeah, it just seemed to open up for him. No Newcastle player came out towards him to close him down, and he thought, well, might as well have a shot. He was on his stronger left foot, just didn't have the calmness really to work Dubravnik in the Newcastle goal. But again, Sheffield United are showing signs of their attacking intent. They're not happy just to sit back and protect this 1-1 scoreline at this moment in time.
Well, they know what's required, don't they? On that far side, it's Gordon just getting it forward, and it's controlled by Osborne this time. It's not the best of starts to this second half from Newcastle United so far. Andre Brooks has it, gives it back this time to Trusty. Trusty down that near touchline, and over, of course, comes Kraft, the substitute, and he and Livramento tidy up and get it back to Dubravka, away to our left-hand side.
Well, you mentioned they've not settled Newcastle, but they didn't settle in the first half, in the first 5-10 minutes. Sheffield United were the better team and got the deservedly got the first goal, and then they found their way back into it, and just a few stray passes at the moment. They're not really playing with the real slickness or the tempo that need to move to get a well-drilled Sheffield United team out of the slots and create a few more chances.
Murphy with some space on this right-hand side, cuts it back inside the penalty area. On rushing Anderson towards the byline, can't quite get his shot away and needs some support, which does arrive. This time Anderson has it, he's got Longstaff inside the box, he's got Murphy out wide to this right-hand side. Murphy slides it in towards the byline where the run had been made by Longstaff, but again, just too much on the pass, and it's gathered up and collected by Fotheringham away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, really good idea. He saw the run of Longstaff into the box, that run again in between centre-back and outside and wing-back. Just couldn't quite get the weight of pass right, but they're the runs that they're looking to do, try and get the space there. And it worked a few times in the first half. They'll be looking for the same sort of outcome in the second half.
There's a clearance coming away to our right-hand side, and it's nodded forward on that far touchline. Up goes Gordon to try and win the header, and it's picked up by Holgate on that far side. Guimaraes towards halfway, looking to drive forward for Newcastle United. He's done well, he was on the floor, got himself up and has kept possession of the ball. That's brilliant. Livramento away, down this right-hand side, towards the edge of the penalty area. Foul from Brereton Diaz, and that's going to be a free kick for Newcastle, and it's probably 2 or 3 yards from the right edge of the penalty area on this right-hand side. Some goals going in elsewhere for you. Sheffield Wednesday now lead West Bromwich Albion by 2-0. Ugbo, he hadn't scored in 8. He's on target for Sheffield Wednesday today. Wolverhampton Wanderers are leading Luton by 2-0. Totti with his first goal for Wolves. Fulham are in front as well. They lead Crystal Palace by 1-0. Rodrigo Muniz is on target for Fulham, and Sutton have pulled a goal back against MK Dons. They still trail by 2-1 and are still going out of the Football League as things stand. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Here's the free kick for Newcastle. Gordon swings it towards the back post, diving header and in! And it's Bruno Guimaraes at the back post for Newcastle United. He doesn't score many with his head, but this one he's dived and made himself available at the back post. A wonderful curling ball inside the penalty area, and yet again at home, Newcastle United have come from behind. They lead. Newcastle 2, Sheffield United 1.
Well, it's probably the one person you don't really expect to get in the 18-yard box with a diving header. You expect a Dan Burn or a Kraft or a Isak to be getting onto the Anthony Gordon's delivery, but he attacked it well. Good ball in there, got his head on it, headed it back across Fotheringham in the goal, and this place erupted with a hero that they've got. We saw the Brazilian flag in the Gallagher end earlier before the start of the game, and Newcastle fans are acknowledging what a cult hero they've got at this football club.
Crucial goals all the way here. Newcastle go in front. Huddersfield straight after the break against Birmingham City. They've got themselves level. Huddersfield 1, Birmingham City 1. Reece Healey with the goal for Huddersfield. Wrexham are level against Stockport County as well at the start of the second half, and Finn Azaz has added a second for Middlesbrough against Cardiff City. The goals starting to flow as the second half gets underway. Crucial weekend in the Championship, and of course in League 2 with that division finishing today. We'll keep you across those goals through the second 45 minutes here at St James's Park, which has suddenly sprung into life again.
Well, it is, and you look about 5 minutes ago, wasn't it? We talk about Brereton Diaz's opportunity, didn't even hit the target. There, the difference is the quality and the calmness in front of goal, where Guimarães gets on the end of a great ball into the box, and this place has erupted, and Newcastle in front for the first time this afternoon, and that's the difference, taking opportunities when they come your way.
Emmanuel Latte-Lath has scored his 8th goal in 7 games for Middlesbrough. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 3 right now, and it's going to be a throw on the far side for Sheffield United. There's a chance now for Isak. No, maybe it's going to be Gordon on the run to try and find Isak, does he? Well, he poked it with the outside of his boot. Fotheringham made the block. He had Isak alongside. Isak is saying, why did you not pass it to me? But I think that was probably a shot from Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, look, he pressed really well in the first place. I think it was Mason Holgate or Jayden Bogle that got caught in possession, and he went into the box, and he's just kept on going. He kept on going. Then he's waiting. He could have slid it across to Isak, but decided that he wanted to try and get on the score sheet and probably make the wrong decision.
Still 2-1 to Newcastle. You're listening to TalkSport 2, 11 minutes gone in the second half. Guimarães on halfway. They go all the way back to Dubravka, away to our left-hand side. You are listening to Newcastle against Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Everton against Brentford, live today, contract-free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Chance for Ahmed Hodzic to try and drive Sheffield United forward. It was interesting talking to some of the former Newcastle players downstairs who said, we've been terrible, we don't deserve to be in this game, but we'll probably go on and win now. Which is kind of how it works sometimes, isn't it? Murphy in a game of head tennis with Livramento, and Murphy just tries to win it back this time as Trusty gets involved, but it's well won by Brooks, who gets it away from Livramento. Then Murphy goes down. There's bodies on the floor, no fouls though, referee not interested. Harmer's got away from Guimarães, and it's 3-on-3. Newcastle have got backtracking to do here. Harmer slips it out to Brereton Diaz on his right foot. Dubravka with a flying save, low to his left hand side. Brereton Diaz, so many times in a Blackburn shirt, we saw him open up his body with his right foot and bend it into the corner, but not this time.
Well, a great opportunity, Sheffield United. They brought really quickly, 3 versus 3. Herman made a great run and just played Diaz in where he didn't have to break his stride. Looking to bend it into that far corner, and a bit too easy for Dubravka to make the save, but a great opportunity again.
Oh, it's end to end. Is Gordon up the other end on the far side, wants a penalty, gets a penalty. He's taken down in the box on the far side. No hesitation from referee Tony Harrington. He didn't waste a moment as Gordon hit the deck. He won 2 penalties here, remember, in the game against West Ham United, and he's won another one.
Well, you go from one end to Brereton Diaz nearly scoring to suddenly a quick free kick taken, goes down the side, gets the ball to Gordon, drives into the box. I think he's up against Mason Holgate, is he? And he gets past him quite easily. Gets the other side of him, clips in. I don't see how that's not going to be a penalty, to be fair.
Well, VAR, of course, will have a look. Anthony Gordon's got the ball in hand. I think Alexander Isak saying, no, I'm the penalty taker. And he'll be the one, I think, who spots the ball down. Although maybe there's a little tap on the arm to say, OK, you can have it. Who knows? We'll see. Tony Harrington in conversation, of course, with the VAR. They are checking the foul. I suspect they're having a look at the action to make sure there was no offside when the ball was played as well. And they are continuing to check this penalty kick. It will be yet another pen for Newcastle United. They're 8th in the Premier League this season. They're 9th in total throughout this campaign, and still we wait. I'm not sure what we're waiting for. Really, it looks fairly straightforward to me, Simon.
Well, I was just about to say that I think he's got the other side of Mason Holgate. He's going through on goal, and he just clipped his ankles. Probably a bit unfortunate to have done that, but I couldn't see VAR overturning that, and
the
penalty
decision is confirmed. It is a foul, and it will be a penalty for Newcastle United. They've converted their last 17 Premier League penalties. You have to go back to May 2021 when Joe Willock last missed one for Newcastle United, and Alexander Isak has converted 5 in the Premier League already this season, and he's about to try and convert another.
You might have just put the kiss of death on him, mate.
Well, you never know. He's looked very confident with his spot kicks. He had the 2 against West Ham, which he converted, and he's looking for his second goal of the game, of course, having levelled things up in the 26th minute of the first half here at St James's Park after Sheffield United had taken an early lead. So what can Fotheringham do here? It's Isak from 12 yards in front of the Gallagate, right footed, puts it into the bottom corner, no doubt about it, from Alexander Isak. He's in the form of his life, his 19th Premier League goal of the season. He's up to 23 now in all competitions, and he's given Newcastle the cushion they desire. Newcastle 3, Sheffield United 1.
Yeah, taken with it like a man full of confidence, just had a little bit of a stutter, plays it to Fotheringham's left hand side, hit the back of the net, and very surprised if Newcastle lose from this. It looks like below us, it looks like Harvey Barnes and Callum Wilson are going to be coming on at some point. The 2 that are coming off, we will find out shortly, but again, Isak won't want to be coming off. He'll be looking for that hat-trick if he can do, but it's very calmly taken away and put away, and 3 points really are in the bag.
Well, that is the first penalty that Newcastle have had in this fixture since 1993. Any idea who might have scored it back in 1993, Simon?
93, Peter Beardsley.
Correct answer, 5 points. You can have another biscuit for that, but not yet.
There's none left. Army's had them all.
Well done, yeah. I mean, that's extraordinary against Sheffield United, their first penalty since 1993, but Isak's done the job, so Wilson is going to come on. I mean, I wonder, there have been a number of occasions this season that obviously Isak has got a brace, but never quite managed to complete the hat-trick, and I wonder if he's going to be denied the opportunity by the introduction of Callum Wilson. We will see.
They've occasionally played 2 together, haven't they?
They have,
so that might be something that happens, but
which may well make sense in this circumstance. Out wide to this right-hand side, here's Murphy. Murphy looking to cut inside. They're trying to put the blades to the sword here now. Murphy back to Gimaresh. Gimaresh inside the box, trying to work the shot. Is Longstaff. It's well blocked this time on this left-hand side by Trusty. And here is Livramento towards Gimaresh. Intercepted. Here's Brereton Diaz. Arblaster now to Brereton Diaz again on this left-hand side. Kraft's got the pace though to cut that one out, but only as far as Osborne, who's just inside his own half. Infield he goes to Brooks. Brooks then goes back towards Trusty. Trusty on this near side. Now Osborne looking to drive forward. Sips it into the feet of Archer. Brereton Diaz is outside him on this left-hand side. The one thing you are guaranteed when you come to St James's Park is goals and excitement. And we've had another 4 so far, and I've got a feeling there might be more to come. Down that right-hand side, here's Harmer running into the box. Right-hand edge, Harmer cuts it across towards Archer. Blocked out for a corner on that far side to Sheffield United.
I think when you were saying that you were expecting a few more goals, you probably weren't thinking Sheffield United might score the next one. But again, they're not throwing it in. They look like they're trying to hit on the counter-attack again. But the difference in quality is there for everybody to see today. Missed opportunities from Sheffield United. Newcastle have been ruthless when they've got theirs, and that's why they're 3-1 up.
Harmer to deliver from that right-hand side. He's gone along the ground towards Brereton Diaz. That was a training ground routine that's not been executed well enough. Gordon then will try and set Murphy away, who does brilliantly to get past Arblaster. Now Isak's there. Gimaresh is in the middle. Isak's on the charge towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got fantastic feet. On his right foot, tries the shot. It's blocked. Comes down to him again at the edge of the penalty area, where he wins the first header. Longstaff will recycle the ball down this right-hand side. Gimaresh to Longstaff at the byline, looks to cut it back, and it's blocked out of play by Brooks, and it'll be a corner on this right-hand side.
The rocked out of Sheffield United. They seem to be sort of treading water, getting opportunities at Newcastle. You're just thinking that Isak, when he's come inside and the goal's going to open up, he's going to plant it into that bottom corner and get his hat-trick. But good defending from Sheffield United in the end. They got across and made the block, but they're really on the ropes now.
Here's the corner on this right-hand side, which Anthony Gordon is going to take. Gimaresh is there waiting. Beneath us, Harvey Barnes and Callum Wilson are ready to come on for Newcastle United. Guimaraes has already scored from one header. He's made his way now inside the 6-yard area. Maybe there's a cheeky double of his own coming. Gordon from the right swings it in towards the edge of that 6-yard, nods it down into the back of Guimaraes, and it's poked home inside the 6-yard area. The lack of celebrations tell me that may well be an Osborne own goal. We shall see who poked it home in the end, but it's calamitous defending from Sheffield United, and Newcastle have the fourth from inside the 6-yard area, and that will see Sheffield United relegated from the Premier League. Newcastle United 4, Sheffield United 1.
Well, it probably just sums them up, Sheffield United, that they sort of don't win the first contact, it bobbles around in there, and is it Elliot Anderson who pokes it against Osborne maybe? We're just looking at the replays. Oh yeah, it's Ben Osborne has tried to flick it away and he's diverted it into the back of the net, and that probably sums up the last 5-10 minutes of Sheffield United's performance and maybe the season, really, giving away stupid opportunities, stupid goals. And look, that's game over, and Sheffield United going back down to the Championship.
Change coming then for Newcastle United, which we knew was going to happen. It's Elliot Anderson who's being replaced by Callum Wilson right now. And we're also going to see the departure of Jacob Murphy, and that's going to be for Harvey Barnes. So double change for Newcastle United. A reminder coming up for you later today. We've got live Premier League action over on TalkSport. That's the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa at Villa Park, of course. 8 o'clock, that's underway tonight. Ramifications on the race for Europe. Prior to that, here on TalkSport 2, and we'll get the team news in about 5 or 6 minutes or so as we look for the Champions League semi-final, Chelsea against Barcelona. Of course, 5 years since Barcelona lost at home, but Chelsea beat them in the first leg by 1-0, and they'll defend that. Emma Hayes in that second leg, and we'll have that live here on TalkSport 2 from 5:30, and then tonight from 8 o'clock as well on TalkSport 2 in the Championship, Hull against Ipswich. Double change for Sheffield United as well. Archer's coming off for Asula, and Robinson is coming on to replace Holgate.
Yeah, a lot of Sheffield United making the changes, but it's just going to give one or two opportunity, a bit of game time. Nice for Callum Wilson and Harvey Barnes to be coming on at this stage where you're 4-1 up. Both we're looking for assists and goals. Rubbing the hands, trying to get opportunities against this Sheffield United team that have conceded far too many goals all season and look like they could probably concede a few more.
Yeah, well, Sula was desperately trying to race in there, and for a moment I think he thought he might actually get himself an opportunity. You're listening to Newcastle against Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every single day. Here come Newcastle United again. They smell blood down this right-hand side. Isak charging forward into Anthony Gordon inside the box, tries to lay it across, gets it back off a ricochet, back to Isak, who picks his spot. Great save, Fotheringham, low down to his right-hand side, just as Isak was about to celebrate that hat-trick. Barnes tees it up for Guimaraes, edge of the penalty area. Guimaraes with a shot, flicks up in the air. Isak tries to take it down. It's Brooks inside the box who eventually gets it clear and out of play, and in fact the offside flag's up, and it'll be a free kick for Sheffield United.
Good play from Anthony Gordon in the first place, turned his man to it really well, too easy from the Sheffield United defensive point of view, slid it into Isak, who then side-footed it and looked like it was going to go in that bottom corner again. Fotheringham got across and got a good hand to it, but again, every time Newcastle break forward now, looks like they could score another goal, but and that was the difference between the first half and this half, that they were getting the opportunities and not taking them. This half they've certainly taken them.
It's currently Newcastle 4, Sheffield United 1, and for the latest odds head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Newcastle to score next at 8-13, Sheffield United to score next 3-1, and no further goal at 29-10. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Here is a chance for Newcastle with Longstaff midway inside his own half, just to try and build something up once more, but it's safely back away on our left hand side with Kraft, and he will find Dubravka. 4-1 they lead by right now. A third goal for Sheffield Wednesday against West Bromwich Albion. Josh Windass, he scored last Sunday. It's Sheffield Wednesday 3, West Bromwich Albion 0. West Brom are going to potentially lose that 5th spot in those Championship playoffs as things stand. A big game for Hull tonight maybe, but certainly as things stand, Norwich would go above them tonight because they're securing a point at home as things stand against Swansea. Vinny Souza is getting ready to come on. A little bit of Sheffield United Brazilian magic to potentially enter the fray. And it's going to be a throw on that far side, which will be taken by Newcastle United by Lewis Hall. Right, we've got a change coming here. In the meantime, let's head to Stamford Bridge and get the team news ahead of that Women's Champions League semi-final with Charlotte Richardson.
Chelsea make one change to their starting 11. Myra Ramirez, the host's record-breaking signing, out of the side and not on the bench, missing out, we believe, through injury. Catarina Macario starts instead. Barcelona need to turn around a goal deficit if they are to make a 5th Champions League final in 6 seasons. England Lioness Lucy Bronze starts as the visitors also make a solitary change. Mariona Caldente drop into the bench. Kick off here at Stamford Bridge at 5:30pm as Chelsea host Barcelona.
Yeah, thank you, Charlotte. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be alongside Charlotte for that one. 5:30 here on TalkSport 2. Just to give you a little insight into the foot of the Championship table, because it's obviously Birmingham 1, Huddersfield 1. The way things stand, Sheffield Wednesday will be up to 20th on 50 points. The bottom 3 will be Rotherham, of course, relegated, Huddersfield on 45, Birmingham on 47, Plymouth on 49, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn all on 50. We could be in for a thrilling race as Livramento puts it to the back post. Chance to finish on the left foot. Oh, great save again by Fotheringham. It's a terrific stop. The left-footed volley down into the ground, and a good stop in the end from Fotheringham once more, who is stopping this becoming a cricket score.
He certainly is. He's made some really good saves. Again, the combination play from Isak and Wilson. Then it comes out to Gordon, who swings and misses the ball completely. But yeah, he's certainly kept them in it. Fotheringham, well, not in it, but he's kept the scoreline down.
Here's Osborne getting in there. Wilson's inside the penalty area too, but Osborne's going to get it clear for Sheffield United. Away to our right-hand side. They're trailing by 4-1, but in the second half it's been all Newcastle. They are running wild. Here's Harvey Barnes, edge of the penalty area. Barnes still going on his feet, gets it across to Wilson, who scores for Newcastle United. Callum Wilson is back on the score sheet again, his 8th Premier League goal of the season. He's been missing through injury, of course. He made his return in midweek and he's back on the score sheet. And Newcastle United have 5. Newcastle 5, Sheffield United 1, and Sheffield are leaving the Premier League with a whimper.
Well, it certainly are. Look, the first half was a really even game, but this second half it has been basically Newcastle have been on top form. They've been really ruthless, but Sheffield United have been really poor in terms of the defending. Sometimes you've just got to put your foot through it and clear your lines, and it gives you opportunity to get up the pitch and get sort of rebuild your structure of your team again. But he's messed around, they've missed challenges, they've missed clearances, and again then it just falls to Callum Wilson. And you give people like Wilson, Isak, Barnes, ex-Gordon, etc., they're going to finish these opportunities. And such a contrasting performance from the first half for both teams, and one that Chris Wilder will be obviously hugely disappointed about, but Eddie Howe will be ecstatic about.
46 Premier League goals now for Callum Wilson, closing in on Peter Beardsley. Little way to go before he gets to Alan Shearer, you know.
Well, he's got to be at the football club to probably do that to get near Shearer's amount of goals.
Yeah, very much regularly. So. And he's another player who, you know, rumour has it Newcastle could potentially needs to cash in on maybe in the summer. He's Fotheringham away to our right hand side. But without him, I don't know what the scoreline would have been.
Well, it's bad enough now, isn't it, with 5, and he's made half a dozen really good saves.
Yeah, it means they've conceded 97 goals now in this Premier League season. Here's Wilson, edge of the penalty area, on towards Isak. Isak with ball at feet, trying to work the shot. It comes back to Gimares at the edge of the penalty area, deflected behind, and it will be a corner.
I think you've got 2 players there in Isak and Wilson looking to set each other up. Wilson, I think on another day probably would have shot and tried to finish it himself. He thought he'll get Isak maybe a hat-trick. Didn't quite get into his pathway where he could get his shot off first time. Comes back to Gimares. He gets his shot off and it gets blocked for a corner. But again, it's just another waves after attack after attack.
Well, prior to today, they'd already conceded the most goals of any side in a 38 Premier League season. They're pushing the 42 season as things stand, and it's a chance for Isak. He slips as he tries to hit the shot at the edge of the penalty area, and Ahmed Hodzic is there, but again he's just dispossessed, and Gimaresh will pick it up, and it's all very sloppy. Here's Gordon, right edge of the box, lays it across the penalty area, 6-yard area. No one can turn it home, but it did take a flick off a yellow shirt, and it's out for a corner on the far side.
We talk about that number, and it's going to be if it doesn't come today, the 100 mark, it certainly will do in the next few games. But the way that Newcastle are going, they could get another couple of goals at least in this game.
Ball swung over from that far side on the right foot this time by Gordon, gathered comfortably by Fotheringham. We've got just over 15 minutes left still here at St James's Park. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Newcastle United 5, Sheffield United 1. It was 8-0, of course, when they met at Bramall Lane. We did say that we didn't think 8 could be hit again, but I'll reserve judgment on that as things stand. Brereton Diaz down this left-hand side to Asula, who's away for Sheffield United, running towards the edge of the penalty area. Asula just holds the ball up. He wants support, which does come at the edge of the box from Arblaster. It's Asula again who gets it back onto his right foot and then goes to the far side where Harmer's there. Asula once more, single-handedly trying to forge his way through this Newcastle United defence. Osborne, left-hand side. He wants support. Vinny Souza is in there. He wants the ball. He's wearing his gloves today, Vinny Souza. Brereton Diaz gives it back to Arblaster. They want a penalty, not given by referee Tony Harrington. Jayden Bogle just sits there as if to say, well, I don't understand why. And Barnes is on the charge on that far side. Callum Wilson's there, and the ball spins into touch on that far side. Just from the moments we've seen here, when you get Barnes and Wilson and Isak on the field and Gordon, you are a little bit thinking what might have been for Newcastle if they could have had those players fit throughout this season.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they showed the quality that they had last year as well, and got into the Champions League. And again, they're chasing that Europa League position, and look, it's still not beyond them because of they're in.
There's a chance again for Wilson to round the keeper, and Fotheringham does well this time. Again, more calamitous defending from Sheffield United. They started this game so well, but in the last 20 minutes it's absolutely fallen apart, as it has so many times this season. 6 times prior to today, 5+ goals. We're now up to obviously 7, and that's a Premier League record anyway.
And I think when you look at, Chris will be looking at it from his perspective and thinking, why do we capitulate? Why do we get to do really well? Oh, here we go again.
There's a chance for Isak, but again, just enough on that from Vinny Souza to get it back towards Fotheringham, away to our right-hand side. They are an absolute menace, Wilson and Isak right now. And with the addition of Gordon on the right and Barnes on the left, well, there aren't many better front fours in the Premier League, I would argue.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that. But just going back to that point there, that Chris will think, is it a lack of character, leadership? Is it inexperience? All these things as a coach you'll be thinking, what do we need to do better? Because lack of spirit, organisation. What do we need to make sure that we don't keep doing this capitulation after doing really, really well first half, looking really competent, looking really confident in defensive structure, but also every time they went forward they looked like they could have scored.
Here's Harmer inside the centre circle for Sheffield United, raiding forward down that right hand side. He's got support from Bogle. Bogle tries to get the crossover, deflects, and is comfortably gathered by Dubravka away to our left hand side, who just pulls the ball into his chest. MK Dons 4, Sutton United 3. Sutton aren't going without a fight. I mean, the fact that Colchester are still winning means that it's irrelevant, but they're certainly putting up a real scrap. Stephen Duke McKenna with another goal for Sutton, who trail by 4-3. Here's Isak, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Offside flag is up. Just a quick word on the playoff places in the Championship as well, by the way. Everyone a little while ago thought that Hull were out of it. They won, of course, at Coventry in midweek. And with West Brom losing again today, having lost their last 2 prior to today, it now means that Hull, if they win, would go level on points going into the final game of the season.
Well,
extraordinary.
It's been an incredible season, both down the bottom end and the top end of the Championship, and there's still so much to play for, and there'll be a lot of Leeds fans desperate for Hull to get a result against Ipswich tonight, and obviously gives Hull that added incentive that if they can win, one, it helps Leeds out, but also it gives them the opportunity to get back into that into them playoff positions, taking it down to the last game of the season.
Anis Slimani has come on for Sheffield United. Goals elsewhere in the Premier League. Here's a rare old thing. Anthony has scored for Manchester United. They lead Burnley by 1-0. Another goal that affects the foot of the table, of course, and Burnley's chances of surviving. And Luton, well, maybe there's a late rally coming at Molineux. It's Wolves 2, Luton 1. Carlton Morris has scored with 10 minutes to go at Molineux in the Premier League. There'll be lots more late goals, I'm fairly sure, between now and the end of this game, which is about 11 minutes plus added time. 5-1 Newcastle lead.
That's the one thing that won't be a late rally, that's for sure, because I think it's game over already. It's just a matter of how many more Newcastle might actually score.
Here's Bogle on that right-hand side. The changes have just upset the rhythm of the game a little bit here, particularly for Newcastle, because Sheffield United have won possession. They foul on that far side on Anis Slimani is penalised. It's a free kick for Sheffield United off the angle of the box on the right-hand side.
Looks like Newcastle are going to make another triple substitution. Matt Ritchie and a couple of younger players coming on, which is nice for them.
Alex Murphy's down there prepared to come on. Ritchie is getting his final instructions from Eddie Howe right now. 13 goals they've scored against Sheffield United in the Premier League this season. Quite extraordinary. And still time maybe for more. Here's the free kick swung in and headed away. Well headed away that time by Wilson. And Newcastle United will push forward as they try and put pressure on Sheffield United here, and it's Wilson again, having got the initial header in. He's chasing that ball down and he'll force Foderingham to collect it at the edge of his penalty area. He gets it away first time. Good play that time by Slimani. On that right hand side, he gives it short to Vinny Souza, and now here's Arblaster, who's trying to pop that into space for Sula to run onto, and he's committed the foul, and that'll be a free kick for Newcastle United inside their penalty area. Alex Murphy and Matt Ritchie are coming on, and the players that will be replaced are Lewis Hall first up, so that's Murphy's replacement, and Ritchie will come on to replace Anthony Gordon.
Did you see that Matt Ritchie has passed his driving licence to be able to drive lorries now?
I did, yeah. New career beckoning after football, maybe?
You don't get many Premier League footballers that'll have that string to the ball, will they?
No, that's very true. Bad news for Plymouth. Millwall have scored. Jake Cooper with a goal 7 minutes before the end. Millwall 1. Plymouth Argyle 0. Near the foot of the table. They're going to be in the race for relegation on the final weekend of the season. Next Saturday, Championship getting underway early, of course. Next Saturday. That will be the focus here on TalkSport 2 next Saturday afternoon, the final day of the Championship. There are, of course, more midweek fixtures to come. There's a promotion party up at Preston for Leicester tomorrow night, of course. That's on TalkSport 2. And then the following night, while we've got Champions League football on TalkSport, we'll be bringing you what is a huge game, Coventry against Ipswich. That's on Tuesday night on TalkSport 2. Down this right-hand side, Newcastle just happy to keep possession for the time being. Obviously, Ollie will round up for you once we're done here all the final scores, the classifieds, and how that affects the table, because that bottom of the Championship and now those playoff places have suddenly become incredibly interesting. That'll be a back-to-back wins for Sheffield Wednesday. And as Danny Roll said to me last week, the focus now is the next position. What's the next position we can gain? And by winning today, they'll have gained another position. Throw in down this left-hand side. Brereton Diaz is going to leave it. Good day for one of the Sheffield clubs then.
Yeah, well, it certainly is. They've had two really good results, Sheffield Wednesday. I think you saw QPR as well having a good result against Leeds last night, and that just, the change of management of them two football clubs has certainly paid off when they made them changes early in the season. But the other Sheffield United, the other Sheffield club today have certainly been outdone by some really good finishing, especially this second half, and they've been a bit of a masters of their own downfall as well, to be fair.
Newcastle have it on the far side. Substitute Murphy finds another sub, Kraft infield, and here's Gimaresh inside the centre circle, out wide to that left hand side. Forward goes Murphy again. He does well. He brings Barnes into play. It's Gimaresh again, 15 yards inside Sheffield United half. Longstaff to Livramento on this right hand side. Now it's Ritchie who comes forward. 99 goals in his club career has Matt Ritchie. 12th appearance off the bench for Newcastle United today. Another excellent victory at home as well for Newcastle. I mean, defensively they've been a lot worse. They've lost far more games. They lost 5 games all of last season. They've lost 13 so far this campaign. But boy, have they been entertaining. I think there's no doubt about them. That may not be good for many. May not be good for Eddie Howe. Here's Isak trying to get inside the penalty area. Fotheringham's gone across to shepherd it out of play, and he does it well. And it'll be a goal kick to Sheffield United. But I think the Toon Army love a bit of entertainment.
Well, I think it goes back to the Kevin Keegan days, doesn't it? When it was like, we'll score more than you, and there was games that were 5-4 and 4-3s, etc. And I'm sure Eddie would like a clean sheet and a little bit more comfort on that bench at times. But yeah, they've got some really entertaining players. Sheffield United this half have not been great in terms of defensively, and it's been too easy for Newcastle to score against them.
This will be the first time since April 2023 against Southampton that they've actually gone behind in a Premier League game and come back to win. They fell behind early on here to that header from Ahmed Hodzic on 5 minutes, but since then 5 unanswered goals for Newcastle United, and just over 5 minutes remaining here. They lead by 5-1. And as things stand, of course, Sheffield United are on their way out of the Premier League. Livramento gets it back short this time to Kraft. Inside the centre circle is Byrne. On that left-hand side is Alex Murphy. Just bringing it forward over halfway. Far touchline is Gimaresh again on the right foot. Linking up play really nicely is Isak. He's got Wilson ahead of him, but possession's picked up in the middle of the park again by Sheffield United, back all the way to Fotheringham, and it's the running of our Blaster once more, who's been so busy in the heart of that midfield today for Sheffield United. He's one of those players that does come out with, I think, a fair bit of credit, being 20 years of age, and someone who I think Chris Wilder's going to be building this club around going forward when they drop into the Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right there. He's done well. He's kept going. I think the one thing that Chris is wanting to look at his team and go, look, 5 is bad enough, don't make it 6, 7, potentially 8, which it could have been if it hadn't been down to Wes Fotheringham, but do not get humiliated at 6, 7 and 8. As I said, 5's bad enough.
Goals going in elsewhere in the Premier League. Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1. Jeffrey Schlupp with a late goal for Crystal Palace. 3 minutes left there. And at Old Trafford, this could be music to the ears of Newcastle United fans. Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. Zeki Amdouni has scored a penalty for Burnley. So it's Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. As things stand, it's still as you were at the foot of the Championship as well, with Sheffield Wednesday winning, Plymouth currently losing, and Huddersfield and Birmingham City are sat tied at 1 apiece as things stand. Here we're into the last, just over 3 minutes. Newcastle United leading here on TalkSport 2 by 5-1 against Sheffield United. And here's a chance maybe now for Sulu, who's done really well this time. Tries to break forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Still going, gets the left-footed shot away, and Dubravka's there and makes the save. And William Asulu is going to be another one of those players who will have a bright future, you feel, for Sheffield United.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really young squad, as we've been talking about, that these opportunities they're going to really have enjoyed, as much as it's heartbreaking that the results that they're having, but the game time in the Premier League should stand them in good stead going forward back into the Championship next year.
Newcastle on the attack again on that far side. Gimaresh midway inside the Sheffield United half. He's got Murphy outside of him. Back to Gimaresh again, who's just pulled all those strings in midfield, particularly in this second half. Forward to the feet of Isak. Back to Gimaresh again. They tried the neat one too, but again Ollie Blaster was tracking that all the way, and Osborne on this near side will now go back inside the penalty area, where Robinson, who's missed the last 3 games, he's back from injury today, he's getting his run out. Gimaresh will pick up the loose ball for Newcastle. They have 6 black and white shirts forward, clipped over the top towards Isak. A little shove in his back, and he just passes that push on, and there will be a free kick because of the injury to Trusty inside the penalty area.
Yeah, I think Isak got a little push in the back, as you mentioned there, which pushed him into Trusty, and he's looking a bit uncomfortable with that knock to his ankle, but again, we're just talking about that Guimaraes has been pulling the strings in midfield. Nobody's really got close enough to stop him making them passes. He's waited for opportunities to play it wide and play it sort of, get the overloads, switching it from left to right, right to left, just showing all the qualities that everybody's been talking about over the last few weeks about his future, where he'll be and what he'll do.
If things stay as they are elsewhere at Old Trafford and here, Newcastle will be within a point of Manchester United. Of course, they play them in the penultimate game of the season. It's a game you'll hear live on TalkSport. Manchester United against Newcastle United, that could well decide who may end up sixth in the Premier League and getting that Europa League spot. A minute plus time added on to play here at Old Trafford. So at Old Trafford, we're at St James's Park. At Old Trafford, they've also got just over a minute or so to play for Manchester United to try and find something. It's drawing, of course, 1-1 with Burnley as things stand. Penalty for Sheffield United. Well, out of nowhere, Sheffield United attack down that right-hand side. Jayden Bogle's the player that's gone down in the box. Brereton Diaz has the ball in hand. Tony Harrington, without hesitation, points to the penalty spot.
A little bit like the Newcastle penalty. Bogle gets the other side of Alex Murphy and he just tangles with him and brings him down. I'm sure it was going to go to he's maybe got the ball actually when you look at it, but still tangling. This is definitely going to VAR, isn't it?
Well, and this is the argument, and this is that whole discussion about when first contact happens to make the foul, because from what I can see, first contact happens outside the area. It's only with a holding, where you carry on holding them into the area, that it's where the final release happens. We're into 7 minutes of added time, and VAR is obviously checking this penalty that Tony Harrington's awarded. And the question is, does he get the ball? Does he trip him over? Well, Murphy, of course, has come on as a substitute.
He gets the ball outside, but then he tangles with him inside. I think this is going to be a penalty again.
Yeah, good luck to Andy Madley on this one, trying to work out whether it is a penalty or not. There's some challenge, as we say, but it is being checked away to our left-hand side. So 7 minutes added time. Goal for Cardiff, they pull one back against Middlesbrough, and he's being sent to the screen on the far side. So Andy Madley has decided that Tony Harrington needs to have another look at this, and Austin Trusty has gone off to try and influence Tony Harrington as he walks over to that far side. And in that case, I would suggest it's not a factual thing, is it? Because if it was factual, is it inside or outside, they would just make the decision. But what they're telling him now is that they don't think that that's a penalty because he got the ball.
I'm not sure anybody still understands the rules of VAR, if I'm being honest, to be fair. I think we could all sit here, debate it all day long, but you know that the inevitable is going to happen here, that he's going to disallow it.
Let's see. He has. He's returned from the screen, and it actually will be possession for Newcastle United, and they will have a drop ball, which Dubravka will have away to our left-hand side. We've had, in the meantime, a minute and a half of the 7 that have been added on at the end of this game. Newcastle still leading here by 5-1. A reminder, it's Manchester United 1, Burnley 1 elsewhere in the Premier League. That affects Newcastle's attempts to get into the top 6. It's Fulham 1, Palace 1, Wolves 2, Luton 1, Everton against Brentford gets underway at 5:30, and over on TalkSport tonight from 8 o'clock we've got exclusive national radio commentary of the game between Aston Villa and Chelsea, with Villa looking to cement their position currently 4th in the table. The way Liverpool were going, they might catch them at this rate, because they drew earlier with West Ham today. Isak Guimaraes down this right hand side. Has he got the legs to get there first? Just about keeps the ball in, then falls to the ground. It was a tired run from Bruno Guimaraes then. Osula on this near side, he's going to be dispossessed by Kraft, who then finds Longstaff. Guimaraes is back up and about, which is good to see, away to our right hand side. And now on that far side, it's Isak. Back short to Longstaff. Longstaff with a little driving run even after 90 minutes of charging around in that midfield. Right hand side again. Infield the ball goes from Ritchie. Helped on its way towards Guimaraes that time by Longstaff, but cleared by Osborne, but only half cleared. Here's Livramento on this right hand side. Back again it goes to Kraft. They're just all hemmed in and around the edge of that Sheffield United penalty area. And in the end it's Vinny Souza with a real bit of a bluster as he goes in with a challenge on the floor to ensure that Sheffield United get a touch on the ball. Once more, it's with Murphy. He must have had his heart in his mouth, thinking, well, I've not made too many appearances, it's only my second sub appearance so far, and I may have given away a penalty in front of my home faithful, but it was ruled a fair challenge on review by Tony Harrington. Lovely switch of play that time from Longstaff out wide onto the left hand side for Harvey Barnes at the edge of the penalty area. Guimaraes helps it on, and it's hacked clear from the around the level with the penalty spot by Ahmed Hodzic, who got Sheffield United off to such a perfect start in this game, having scored after just 5 minutes. The full times are starting to roll in, by the way. Crawley have beaten Grimsby by 2-0. It's finished Blackburn Rovers 0, Coventry City 0. Another game without a victory for one of your old clubs at home. That's the thing, it's 1 win in 12 at home.
Yeah, but it could be a vital point given some of the other results as well. But yeah, it's going to go down to the next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, John Eustace has done a very good job at making them hard to beat, however, and they did that with 10 men today as well. So 0-0 between, as we mentioned, Blackburn and Coventry City. Bradford have won again today as well. They've been on a terrific run at the end of the season. Will it be enough to get them in the playoffs? Ollie will talk you through that once we're done here at St James's Park. Osborne on this near side goes back to Robinson. Robinson lurking at the edge of the penalty area. Advances forward, he'll try and clip a ball, but it comes off Ritchie and into touch on this near side for a throw to Sheffield United. 4.5 minutes of the added 7 have been played. There'll be a little bit more because of that VAR check. It's still 5-1 to Newcastle, and here's Simon Grayson.
Yeah, look, it's been a real professional performance this second half. They've been very ruthless, Newcastle. They've taken the chances. Sheffield United, obviously, confidence is really low. They sort of give away too many cheap opportunities, too many goals all season, really. And when they've had them opportunities, the first half especially, they've not been ruthless enough to take them. They could have been 2-1 up, even 3-1 up, because they had some good opportunities. Even in the second half, Brereton Diaz had a free header, penalty spot, misses a target. Newcastle go down the other end and score, and that's been the difference.
Guimaraes tries to flick a ball out, a long one to Callum Wilson down this right hand side. He'll be pleased to have got back on the score sheet today following his return from injury. Millwall have beaten Plymouth by 1-0 at the foot of the Championship. Any sign of any late goals anywhere? Wrexham have beaten Stockport 2-1, of course, both promoted from League 2. Earlier on today, Derby joined Portsmouth in the promotion pile from League 1 into the Championship for next season, and actually great to have Portsmouth and Derby back in the Championship as well. And we've got 4 great playoff teams as well. And don't forget, you'll hear every single leg and final of every single playoff exclusive to the TalkSport network.
Two big clubs out of Derby and Portsmouth.
Huge. It's been too long for Portsmouth, it really has. Right hand side, Bogle. Brereton Diaz inside the box, gets it onto his left foot, tries to get the shot away, but not on this occasion. If anyone probably deserves a goal of these Sheffield United players, it's probably Ben Brereton Diaz.
Yeah, he's worked his socks off. He's been a threat, he's been a presence. He's just not really had the confidence, the belief that when it does come to him, he's going to score, and that's probably just been the mindset that Sheffield United have had for a number of weeks and maybe months, to be fair.
Bogle is fouled on the far side. Colchester have drawn with Crewe, which means Colchester United stay up, and Sutton will be the team that drop out of the Football League into the National League. Chris Wilder already doing his handshakes with Eddie Howe down below, and Rob Jones, I think he's probably seen enough. Let's have those travelling Sheffield United supporters up high away to our left-hand side. We've had 7 minutes of the added time, but there will be a little longer. Tony Harrington, the referee, well, not only does he blow the whistle on this game, but he also blows the whistle on Sheffield United's brief visit to the Premier League. They can no longer catch fourth from bottom Nottingham Forest and are the first team relegated, and it's back to the Championship they go. To be blunt, the Blades haven't cut it this season, and the team hailing from the City of Steel have shown very little mettle. A record number of 5+ goals conceded in defeats again today, the most goals conceded in a 38-game season, and they would beat their own worst points total in the Premier League if things continue as they are. Chris Wilder's second term in charge didn't deliver the miracle they hoped, but now can he work his promotion powers and drag them back once again? Sheffield United are down and they're out of the Premier League. Newcastle United, well, they are moving on up. They're on the tails of Manchester United, and 6th place in the Premier League is a real possibility for them. It's another home win, and it's finished here. Newcastle United 5, Sheffield United 1.
Adam Bridge, thank you very much indeed. Another hatful of goals at St James's Park. A very entertaining game, but not if you're of a Sheffield United persuasion. The blades put to the sword. The players dressed in yellow trudge over to applaud the remaining away fans. It's half full, right up in the gods at St James's Park. They do applaud their players, but what a torrid season it's been for those supporters and those players, and for Chris Wilder as well. Sheffield United, it's been inevitable for a while, but they are no longer a Premier League club. They will play in the Championship next season after a day to forget here at St James's Park and a season to forget in the Premier League. Simon Grayson alongside me. Sheffield United down, and that second half in particular seemed to sum up their season, didn't it? Littered with defensive mistakes, and that's been costly throughout the campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were sat here at half-time saying not quite sure which way this game was going to go, because Sheffield United had done really well in the first half. They created some good opportunities and asked questions of Newcastle, just weren't ruthless enough, but never really thought that it was going to be a 5-1 game at half-time. But as that game went on, Sheffield United confidence, belief went, and the other side of it, Newcastle got the confidence, the ruthlessness came in, the quality came to the forefront, and a real sad day for Sheffield United, really, relegated back to the Championship. We sat here watching Chris Wilder giving a team talk to all his staff and the players. I'm sure that'll be a message of motivation for next year, that look, let's prove that we can come back up into the Premier League. But it's been a really disappointing season for them. Yes, the gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is huge, but I think the way that they've gone down with nearly 100 goals conceded just shows that the lack of ability, experience that they've got within this squad to compete.
Yeah, the most goals conceded by any team in a 38-game Premier League season, and as you say, Simon, they're out on the middle of the pitch, a little huddle of the full squad, the full staff being talked to by Chris Wilder. You mentioned there about the next campaign, about resetting when they drop down to the Championship. But you've been a manager in these scenarios. When a team goes on a run like this in a division which has been far too good for them, how difficult can it be to pick them back up and try and achieve promotion at the first time of asking? How difficult is it to build that winning feeling again?
Well, it's not easy, but I think they've got the right person in charge in Chris. He knows the club, he knows the city, he knows what it means to them. I think it's going to be a really important summer in terms of the recruitment, because I think the recruitment last summer, when they got promoted, wasn't good enough. A lot of young, inexperienced players, a lot of Championship players, not Premier League players. And I think they've got to make sure that that's right to give them a really good opportunity of getting back at the first attempt. Won't be easy, because there's going to be a lot of big clubs still down there, but they've got to get them factors right to give them that opportunity. And interesting summer for Chris and the recruitment staff and the owners.
They're over applauding the remaining away fans at the moment, but this will hurt, even if it has been inevitable. As for Newcastle though, Simon, the players doing a lap of the pitch, getting applauded by the Geordies here. A demolition, wasn't it, in the end? 5-1 that they won. They were quite poor in the first half, but that attacking performance in the second half, that attacking talent, the likes of Isak, Wilson coming on as well, they looked so dangerous, didn't they?
Yeah, look, they've got some really spectacular players. We've got Guimaraes coming off with his shirt in the crowd somewhere. I'm not quite sure it's a day for having your top off, but especially being from Brazil as well. But look, when you can bring on Barnes and Wilson and a number of other players that they've got out, this is a club that is geared for European football, and they'll be disappointed where they are at this moment in time. But the last couple of results, apart from in midweek against Crystal Palace, has given the opportunity to still have a European football next year, and that will be what they're looking to finish the season on.
Well, we should say that Manchester United drew this afternoon at home to Burnley. That puts Newcastle within a point of them in 6th place as well. Can you see Newcastle's momentum carrying them into that 6th spot when you remember, and Adam mentioned it in commentary, that a game that will be live on TalkSport. They still have to go to Old Trafford for the penultimate game of the season as well. Can you see Newcastle nicking in and getting that 6th spot?
Well, you certainly can, because I think everybody sees that nobody really knows what you're going to get from a Manchester United team from one week to another, or a game-to-game basis. So Newcastle, I think everybody knows, are an attacking team that love to create chances, and they'll have the belief, the confidence, and certainly they've sampled European football and they want a little bit more, and today's result is giving that little extra boost to trying to secure the European slot.
Yeah, the feeling summed up here by a topless Bruno Guimaraes giving a fist bump as he went down the tunnel. Time now, though, here for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Come on then, Simon, who are you going for?
Well, you've got to look at Isak, who got 2 goals as well, was a constant threat. But the one that was really the linchpin that made everything happen was the topless Brazilian as he walked off the pitch, and Bruno Guimaraes. So yeah, he was the player of the match, given that he was just everything. He got a couple of, well, I think he got 1 goal and maybe claiming an assist, or maybe a goal that Ben Osman had a little bit deflection off. So yes, he was a key player today, hence the player of the match.
Yeah, he responded, didn't he, to that huge display before the game. That was our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. From the best lineup in the UK, Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Simon Grayson, thank you very much indeed for your company this afternoon. Our thanks to Adam Bridge as well. Lovely commentary from both of you. Make sure you stay with us here on TalkSport 2. We're off to Stamford Bridge for Chelsea women against Barcelona in the Champions League. Next, it's the semi-final. Chelsea lead 1-0 from the first leg. It's set to be some occasion. Over on TalkSport, Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlor are on the game day phone-in. Blades fans, Newcastle fans, get in touch, 03717 223344. And then following that, more Premier League action for you on TalkSport. Top 4 chasing Aston Villa taking on Chelsea. That kicks off at 8 o'clock. Whilst over here on TalkSport 2, what a spicy game in the Championship. Ipswich go to Hull, looking to put themselves in the automatic spots. They need just 5 points to become a Premier League team next season. That one also kicks off at 8 o'clock here on TalkSport 2. Thanks very much for your company this afternoon. Newcastle's push for European football got a much needed boost, a thumping victory for them. But for Sheffield United, the inevitable confirmed. They are relegated from the Premier League with a whimper. Up next here on TalkSport 2, we're live at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea women battling Barcelona for a place in the Champions League final.
It's simple. They lose, they're relegated. They draw, they're still going to get relegated anyway. Even if they win, they'll probably get relegated too. Here's Harmer, 25 yards out, whips that ball in, nodded down and in! And they have the lead! It's a goal for Ahmed Hodzic for Sheffield United. Here's Isak inside the penalty area, on his right foot, Isak! He doesn't miss from there! Alexander Isak levels things up at St James's Park. Gordon swings it towards the back post, diving header and in! And it's Bruno Guimaraes. It's end to end. Is Gordon up the other end on the far side? Wants a penalty. Gets a penalty. It's Isak from 12 yards in front of the Gallagate. Right footed, puts it into the bottom corner. No doubt about it. Swings it in towards the edge of that 6-yard line. Knocks it down into the back of Guimaraes. And it's poked home inside the 6-yard area. The lack of celebrations tell me that may well be an Osborne own goal. And that will see Sheffield United relegated from the Premier League.
Well, it probably just sums them up.
Here's Harvey Barnes, edge of the penalty area. Barnes still going on his feet, gets it across to Wilson, who scores for Newcastle United. And Sheffield are leaving the Premier League with a whimper. The referee, well, not only does he blow the whistle on this game, but he also blows the whistle on Sheffield United's brief visit to the Premier League. Newcastle United, well, they are moving on up. They're on the tails of Manchester United, and 6th place in the Premier League is a real possibility for them.